Hi, I'm Rob from popzine.com. As you can see, filling in for our usual host, Harry, over at Blue Nose Beer Reviews, as he's far too busy to kind of spend his Tuesday evening with all you lot. But as you can see, I'm sure we'll be joined by a cast of characters throughout the evening, but the most important people here, obviously, at the start, we've got, from my left, I don't know what you guys can see, but we've got the clueless drinker, Peter, from all the way over in Germany. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Just having computer issues, but thankfully that's sorted.
Well,
but I've got good beer, good company. So.
Oh, we'll see about. I'm sure one of them is guaranteed, the other one maybe not so.
Who are you with, Peter?
Next up, that damn fresh-faced youngster, that whippersnapper. We've got James from Rampant Lion Reviews. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, just bobbing along, enjoying being free of Brexit and Sweden. You know, it's great.
Oh, bobbing along. Don't rub it in. All right. I mean, this is somebody who's planning a holiday to Denmark. Yeah. Feel my pain.
Woo!
And next up, you wanted the best, you got the best. He's the YouTube mega icon, Peter, the master of puppets. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Drinking some tea out of a Christmas mug.
Drinking tea out of a Christmas mug. Well, I don't know how to respond to that. I just realised a really witty intro for Peter at the other end. You know, obviously yours was killer, but you mean the other one, and I forgot to mention it. But obviously, the next man, not short of an opinion. My brother from another mother, Craig, from UK Beer Reviews. How you doing, my friends?
Yeah, very well, good. Yeah, having phone
issues. Well, I hope you, out of all of us, have got some bloody beer. Because it turns out two of them. So you see these youngsters not drinking beer on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I've done 3 reviews, but I want to do another 5. But you know.
Well, I think that's a good place to start. So you've done some reviews. What you got lined up for this evening?
Well, I've started off on this Colton Brewing Company. It's
Colton, yeah.
It's a fruity and a bit sour. It's a kind of a special release for a monthly beer box thing.
Cool. So Charlton's a brewery on outskirts of Manchester, primarily doing kind of lactic soured beers, I'd say, in cans as well. So
yeah, it's quite a nice kind of entry level sour. It's nothing too major, but it's quite pleasant, quite drinkable. So, got a beer from Ilkley as well.
Oh
yeah. Dinner ale.
Yeah, that's based on like a Victorian recipe.
Yeah, Victorian ale.
James is getting mugged at the moment.
Yeah.
He's in Scotland. It's understandable.
And another.
He's running now. He's running for his life. Which is like that. Smashing in his windows.
Got another beer from Aston. This is their.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, Bunsen American brown ale.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I did invite him tonight. I mean the great man Jack Walker. I did invite him tonight, but he's sadly busy.
Fair enough.
Doing beery stuff. He's a very important man nowadays.
Yeah. Well, that's it for now. So.
Cool. So, Peter, are you actually going to drink any beer tonight, or are you just going to flounce around with a pot of tea?
No, not tonight, because I have to be up super early in the morning.
Aww.
So I don't sleep too well if I have a couple of beers. I either sleep well if I have none, or I have quite a few beers. And it doesn't work with a hangover or anything tomorrow.
Your tea then.
What?
Your tea, that will knock you right out.
Well, I could do that.
But so I guess you two have got the benefit of watching us three slightly deteriorate over the evening, which is
very true.
Yeah,
always
I did talk about it.
So we're going to skip over James because he's got a jug of water. But we'll come back to all this. We'll come back to stuff we've been on recently.
I've got figure, you know.
Of course, yeah. You finely tuned sportsman that you are. So
That's the thing with a Japanese girlfriend. You get chewed if you're not healthy.
No dear.
Oh yeah.
So Peter, what you got lined up for tonight?
Well, I'm starting off with one of my favourites of the year, the Common Grounds from Magic Rock.
Lovely.
I think that's absolutely gorgeous. I don't like porters usually, but this is just on a completely different level. So
It's absolutely stunning.
yeah, I've been waiting to drink this for like 2 weeks, waiting for the right moment, and it's been staring me at the face. But I'm finally drinking it. Fantastic beer. And then doing a Harry Meadows and going from dark, light, dark. We've got a beer from a brewery called Brewers and Union. You really can't see that label, but this is the Burger, which is a fruity, woody, and earthy ale for burgers and general happiness. And it's pretty much a best name ever. It's pretty much just an English pale ale, so it's obviously not as hoppy or hop forward or as fruity. But to me, though, it sort of just tastes like a slightly hopped up Hellas beer.
Okay.
So you still get that characteristic. But, you know, it's just nice to session on. It's only 5.5%, so not too bad.
They're a funny one. I mean, they brew out of a number of family breweries around Europe. I mean, and that's probably a German brew beer, actually. Then if you look on Red Beer, they often mention they brewed it.
I think it is, and the other one I've tried from them was the Friday IPA, which I think is brewed in the same place as the burger. But that Friday IPA, again, it wasn't really overly hoppy. It was quite muted, but a lot better than what some of the German craft brewers are doing right now. And then the last beer, going over to our good friends at AB InBev, picked up a bottle of Leffe Brun because it was like €1.20, and it's been a while since I've had it, so I thought, why not? And it's actually a lot more flavourful than I remember it being, and actually really, really nice. And yeah, that's it for now, but I've got a couple of Italian craft beers in the fridge, which I'll probably end up getting into, even though I wanted to review them. But yeah, so it's not a bad selection, but the Common Grounds is just on a completely different level to everything.
Yeah, it's just stunning. It's absolutely. I mean, and also, I mean, if Peter thinks he says he doesn't sleep well after having a couple of beers. If you drink that beer late at night, you're not going to get much sleep as well. So there's a lot of coffee in it.
It's really good, though. I've had that one too, Common Grounds, a few times.
Oh, cool.
But just on tap.
The Basement Beer Bar, didn't you? Their
anniversary, yeah. And we also get Magic Rock in cans in Denmark now. Woo!
I saw it.
Very nice.
Yeah, but it's just the core range so far, I think. The Cannonball, Grapefruit, Highwire, whatever. But all of those are nice beers, and they're freaking cheap. That is the awesome part of it. Like, because compared, like usually when you buy craft beer here, it's very expensive. Like the Leffe you said costs 1.5 euros. It's at least double here for a small bottle.
Wow.
So, but those prices are great. What's that? Yeah, that's about 3 euros for a can of Magic Rock beer, and in Danish standards, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think I paid £2.70 for my can, so it sort of works out the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's the capitalising the weakness of the pound, isn't it? Really? I know that cheap English craft beer. As Peter was saying, he's got the Brewers in Union thing. I don't know if Peter, Master of Hobbits, remembers when we went to Colonel, we actually met some of the guys from Brewers in Union. Remember when we went to Colonel? Do you remember?
Was it the guys that were sharing some beer there?
Yeah, that was two of the guys from Brewers in Union.
Because
they were passing around the bottle of their triple, and then I remember going back like online a couple of weeks later and spotting that and going, hang on, okay, so that was them guys. Yeah, they were just passing. They'd gone down to visit Colonel. I mean, exact same time that me, Peter, and Jakob, and a couple of friends bobbed into Colonel to have a bit of a visit, and as it turns out. They're like, oh, do you want to try a bit? Yeah, I'll have some free beer. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
I think it was the Brewers Union guys. Yeah, so I think it's an English guy, a guy Portuguese, maybe a guy from Portugal, and
I thought Africa too.
South African guy, yeah. And then the brew out of kind of. Anyway, me personally drinking right now, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but I forgot how intensely dry this beer is. I've got a bottle of Cantillon Creek.
Oh, nice.
It's oaky as fuck. I mean, I've been to Manchester today, so I've had.
Did you get much Cloudwater beer?
No, I didn't. Fucking hell. But that's gonna be my first subject, which we'll get onto in a minute. But shut up, you throw me, bastards. So I've actually got a kind of dead pony on the go, which I nabbed from the local Asda as I walked home, because I thought it's so dry as the Cantillon. I don't want to just like. It's so oaky. It's amazing. I mean, I haven't had it for such a long time, but yeah, that Cantillon's stupid. Mm-mm. But
speaking of Cantillon, I have Fafoon in the cellar right now. This year's vintage.
Nice. Yeah, so some of that appeared online in the UK. I mean, it disappears in like 10 minutes when it goes online. But
yeah, like this bottle of Fafoon and also the Pepper Framboise.
Yeah.
I got a set and another friend got a set, but it never even went on sale locally. They got 6 bottles of each, and as soon as people heard that it was starting being distributed in Denmark, people called their local places like, "Can I reserve a set? Can I reserve a set?" So that's why I got a set too.
It's crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but there's a podcast called, they do a bit of video stuff called 4 Brewers. It's 2 guys who used to do New Brew Thursday. If you remember New Brew Thursday, Peter.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah. 2 of those guys, another 2 guys doing a thing called 4 Brewers. That's really good. And they did this thing. They did a blind tasting of Goose, which annoyingly, because they're all American, they call it Goose.
Goose, yeah.
Goose.
Goals.
And so they did a blind tasting, and I don't know if it was the worst or 2 from the worst was the Cantillon straight up lambic, and even in that when he was reviewing it, we were like, "Watch this be the Cantillon," and it was. But I mean, same with the Tilquin came out really badly on that review as well. But anyway, so as Craig was saying, you were teeing me up for that one, which is my first thing I want to discuss. I've had a bit of an afternoon in Manchester, the home of Cloudwater, one of the UK's kind of most beloved breweries at the moment. I really struggled to find much Cloudwater today. I went to a new place that they've opened in collaboration with one of the kind of like best bar owners in Manchester. There were three on, one were on cask. It had been on since Saturday, which didn't like the sound of that. I had a session IPA, and then the IPA where I went to get gone off. So I'm in the town where this brewery is most prominent, in a pub owned by this brewery, and I still struggle to get the beer citywide. So my question to the group is, should breweries, despite their popularity, look after their local market before they start kind of like reaching further? Do you mean look after your local market and then establish a business beyond that, or what? What do you guys think? I mean, and this is based on your personal experience of like local brewers to you. Can you get those locally? Can you not? What do you think about that?
It really depends on the local audience and scene. If I would not focus on the local scene, because I could count all the people who would drink my beer on 2 hands. I would definitely push it to Copenhagen, especially if but yeah, I'm not like the local scene and all that thing isn't that big in Denmark. Like you don't really, it's not like the whole American support your local brewery and go drink your local beer and whatnot. It's more of like there's a few bars and you try a lot of different stuff and whatnot. There isn't that whole same idea of going to visit a brewery, trying their beer, supporting their local beer, except in Copenhagen, really. There is a bit here and there in some of the bigger cities, but I think maybe it's also because we're like home of contract brewers, so that's might be one of the reasons. But I'd say it really depends on where you're based. If you're in a place like Manchester and it seems like the local scene is like really wanting your beer, I would focus on the local scene before focusing on anyone else, because that would be enough, and it would be much easier because you didn't have to go into distribution on all this stuff.
Exactly.
And then the beer would also be fresher. And actually, right now I'm working in a brewery, a local brewery, and like that's one of the things right now. We're mainly selling beer locally, and distribution is freaking hard, especially because the only people we work with right now, they have a tendency sometimes to just sit on stuff, and you don't want that, especially because we recently just brewed our attempt at like a New England IPA, so we want to push that ourselves. And luckily Denmark is a small country, so the way we're going to push that is that we're actually going to drive to Copenhagen with kegs and then deliver along the way.
It's quite interesting that to hear about Copenhagen, because in Sweden, you guys probably, we have very close to where I live, we have Precariat, and they fell out with Systembolaget, so there was a period for about 2 years where you could not get Precariat beers in Sweden. We had to go over to Copenhagen and get them. And they've only just, like at the start of this year, they actually just started putting these beers back. So I guess that is one of the things. Obviously, I guess you won't have that in Denmark so much, but in Norway, in Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland, they do have. There's a huge home brewing culture, and from what I gather, like Systembolaget, they'll say, right, we want 2 breweries this year from New Zealand, we want 1 from Italy. You know, they'll make the list, and then they'll also have a list of different beers that they want people to brew. And then there's so many breweries racing to just produce this beer. Market is really quite interesting that way as well, because you have this one centralised system. Then it's really strange because there's beers you can't get outside of their own county and all of this. But then you've got the other extreme where the system can be good when you're starting up because it guarantees you entry to 3 stores. But it can also be a pain in the arse if you want to go further, because if you're a rural brewery, if you're away up in Mayo or something, and you've only got the store in Mayo, like if you want to get your beer into Stockholm or Gothenburg or something, it can be a big thing. So your locality, like if you've got a majorly rural brewery, there might just not be places locally for you to sell it. So you have to, I think that's a big thing. There's another interesting brewery down in Malmö, actually, Malmö Brewing. They've got some really, really good beers, but they don't bottle their stuff. It's only in pubs in Malmö. Because I've been on it and asking them, you know, can you give me, or can you make me a growler? I'll pay you for the growler, but can you give me a growler that I can go in and get some of your beers and review them? They just don't do that. So you've got some really nice things going on. But I would say, like, in principle, I do agree with the idea that if you've got a good enough market locally, like your local market should take importance over an export market sort of thing. I do agree with the principle, but it doesn't always work in practice, and you know, it can be just what your local economy actually is that determines that, I think.
Cool. James, I think we're getting a bit of I think we've got an issue with your mic. It's just getting a bit, you sound a little bit like a robot. So it might be, if you've got some earphones, try them. It might be a weird thing. Just that. You were saying really interesting things, and we want to be able to hear you, so give that a go. But anyway, cool. Craig?
Yeah, I think your local market, your core is what, you know, that's, if you're going to do well locally, then that's where it's going to expand from. So you do that first. I mean, Cloudwater done it, but you can't forget where you kind of come from as well.
Yeah.
I mean, my local brewery, I mean, that's all I kind of drunk for a long, long time. It's just my local stuff. Just, you know, and then I started to try different breweries a bit further out in Kent, and then it kind of went from there. Every now and again, I'll go and I can always get their beers. Their core range beers are just any day I can go and get them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And then there's seasonals that come out. I like to try them once a year, a couple of pints or whatever per season, and then. But yeah, I mean, you can always get them.
So, do you think it's more of a case of? Is it more those hype beers? Then it's like is it just happens to be that those kind of those hyped beers that everybody's after, when they become more difficult to get hold of because there's a lot more demand for them, I guess.
Yeah,
they become a lot more scarce. I mean, and I guess that's the frustration. I guess I'm feeling.
I mean, if they gone more into mass produced in the bottles rather than egg or.
I was told it's because of the double IPA. I mean, that's really put them on the back foot as far as kind of production goes. I mean,
sure.
Hopefully we'll be. I'm expecting them to be at CBC next year. I think they did an event before CBC last year.
No, they were supposed to, but they didn't, and they ended up just going to CBC as guests. But
yes.
in a few weeks, they're touring the country and doing some tap takeovers at some different places. So
yeah, the brewery we've toured last week. Well, this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's
something like that.
Yeah, it must have been at Bruce. Must have been at that.
Yeah, which is a great location. The booth is awesome.
Yeah, it looks so fantastic.
But with
it is a beer mecca, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with Cloudwater as well, though, they haven't got any core range beers.
No.
So
they might technically have one soon.
Exactly. Yeah, which is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
But then, I think you said on your I don't know, it might have been you, Rob, or someone else saying that they're going to bring out a double IPA once a month.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then a lot of their other beers will be a lot harder to kind of get hold of because they're concentrating more on double IPAs.
Yeah, true. I guess it ends up like The Alchemist, where any topper becomes such a big kind of drain on the resource because Cloudwater is not a big brewery at all. And I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, if that's taking up a certain amount of acreage in their fermenters, it does kind of restrict what they can make. Beyond that, yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a big gap in the market for this the kind of facility that like Omnipollo and Toil and everyone are using, that place in Lochristenhoeft in Belgium. I think there's a big gap in the market for a lot of these facilities that can do contract brewing to open up. If someone had the money just to put down the infrastructure, you'd probably have a lot of breweries that would use that. I know that I did some research for an Amor beer that was with Cigar City, and they were using these they were using a contract brewery facility over there, but then they've joined this partnership with Oscar Blues. So I think there is a big gap in the market for something like that, where if someone can lay down the infrastructure and essentially build a macro brewery, but it's more like a commune brewery, if that makes sense. That's someone could make a lot of money out of that. Whether that will happen or not, who knows?
I think that's essentially how it works. A lot of time in Poland, big part of the Polish craft beer scene is based out of a very few amount of breweries. So not many of them have got their own place.
No, one of the things, though, that can be dangerous with that is that then all of a sudden you're not in control of your beer, and then a lot of your beers, like a lot of the Alpine beers that are brewed at Green Flash, are no way near as good. They're so much worse. I've tried some of the Alpine version brewed in Green Flash, and I didn't even bother to review them because they were not at all like I remember them, and then again they were old, so it's like
that's the thing. That seems to be a big debate in America just now, because obviously you've got things going on like Cigar City, and there's rumours of them selling out to Anheuser-Busch, but then they've signed this partnership with Oscar Blues. So they're talking about this partnership being like a sort of, it's almost like a peer network kind of thing, where the breweries are independent. And I don't know. I can see the point that you're making there, Peter, because there is that worry. You can lose control of your beer. And you really, I guess, if you're going to do it that way, Oscar Blues, to be honest, are, you know, they're a good enough brewery, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. But then you have this whole thing, like you say, is the beer going to taste the same? Because you know, in these places you've got different mineral content. You know, like just with chemistry, you know, you can do something very, very slightly different, and it can change a whole. You know, it can change. If you add the Amarillo like 1 extra gram or something, it can just change that whole blend of the oranges or whatever. You know, it can do all of that.
Yeah, that's so true. Not that the green flesh brewed beers are by Alpine are bad. Yeah, they're decent beers, but they're not just as good as the standards they held. But we have something like that, like a communal thing in Denmark. So, of course, there's a place called Ølkollektivet, which kind of translates into the beer collective. And it's a brewery where I think there are now 4 or 5 people that own it. So 4 or 5 brewery together in one. So they pretty much share everything there and share all the costs. And then you just have to purchase your own fermenters. That is a way of doing it. So cool. I think there are 4 or 5 people now sharing it. It's a Gamma brew.
We've lost Peter.
And then Bad Seed. I can't remember. Maybe also someone called Howling Monkey. I can't remember. But.
Okay.
So that what they do is like they have these, and then they do the hair. So it's quite a different idea, but apparently.
Has everybody else lost Peter?
Yeah. Sorry, you're dropping out for a second there.
Oh, I just said some weird communal mashup thing where different breweries share the facility.
Okay.
So
He's having some issues, I think.
Yeah. He's gone again.
Somebody's nicking his Wi-Fi. It's our neighbour.
I'm on a Brody's now. Piccadilly Pale Ale.
I saw some Brody's knocking around recently. I had a really good one at Indie Man. It was bourbon barrel aged mocha milk stout, which was very nice. And Brody's are a funny one. They made a bit of a splash at one point and then disappeared. And they're not the most enterprising brewery in the world.
No, I mean,
but they make some decent
pale,
stuff.
So it's quite pleasant. First beer I've had from them, so nice looking pale. It's quite hazy.
That's what it's all about. It's all about the haze.
Oh yeah. Hashtag haze.
Haze for days.
Haze for days. Yeah.
That's what
Hashtag haze hype.
Haze hype. Oh, is that new one? Okay.
I wanted to ask as well. Actually, has anyone come across a good mead recently?
Ooh, yes, Gosnells, which is a London-based meadery. I mean, they do a mead at about 4 point something, 5 point something ABV. That's really nice. I mean, you get some really good ones from Scandinavia, but they're pricey as fuck and very expensive. But I mean, the Gosnells is really good. If you search it out, Ales by Mail might have it, but that's lovely.
Oh yeah, no, because I reviewed this guy earlier on today, Precariat.
We've been out to do some good stuff.
Yeah, no, because this was the first time I'd come across them, and the only mead I'd ever had was from it was either Alakok or Saku in Estonia, and this is the first kind of one I've come across. I'm like, I've been missing out because I've not really come across them too often. So it's a style I think I need recommendations for.
If you're still in
you'll find a lot of meads in a lot of German supermarkets. But I don't know, because every time I've had mead, I've really enjoyed it, especially some of the like Christmas markets.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I've never actually bought mead myself, but you'll be amazed at like you'll have a whole section in like even the most mainstream supermarket, and then you'll have just all of these meads lined up. And I'm not sure about like the quality compared to some of the more notable ones, but yeah, I don't know.
In Germany, though, are Is the term, is it malt drinking they give to mead? Or is that something different?
I think that's something different. I'm not too sure.
Some malt drinkings over there, but they were malt drinking. They were not. They were basically no alcohol things, I think. But they did have ones that were alcoholic. But I remember just tasting some of these meads and thinking that's exactly the same as the malt drinking that you get in Germany. It's the same flavour, basically.
Non-alcoholic mead. What is that? Is that water and
just honey?
Honestly, it's just like a kind of, the malt drink are just like a kind of, it's just almost like drinking a water. You can't really
Malt drink is not anything to do with mead. That's like, I think it's made with like byproducts of like the mash and stuff. It's just like a sweet malt drink. We have like a non-alcoholic malt drink. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has anything to do with mead.
Yeah, you will actually find a lot of that in Germany. Mm. Like these like in like plastic bottles. It's just
yeah. I think I'm just mixing up my terms.
But mead, there's a Swedish brewery that really is making amazing mead at the moment called Satipahaya. They make mead and sours. They're fucking great. I had a white chocolate blueberry mead that was aged in bourbon barrels. It's pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah, sounds good. I think they're one of the ones that I can't get in Skåne County, unfortunately. I think it's one of these things with Systembolaget. Again, it's the distribution network in Sweden can be really frustrating.
It's all about locations, isn't it? What I've been told. I mean, if you're right up in the north, I know somebody from actually used to do a beer reviews, a guy called Darren, Beer Sweden TV. I don't know if you've seen Darren.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. No. Well, he opened a brewery in Sweden.
Hop Studio.
Oh, was that what it's called? I mean, last time I saw him was up at Brewdog, and he's a lot of fun. And we had to wake him up to get the taxi to go to the airport. Because I'm not sure if, how there's only 3 people watching. I can say this. So he was at a lap dancing club with a young lady from a Scottish newspaper and Martin Dickey until about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were leaving for the airport at about 6:45. So Darren had been about 2 hours. I didn't go. I mean, there's video footage of it of me and Mitch in Cask, which is a fantastic pub in Aberdeen, at 3:30 in the morning. I know exactly where I didn't go there. I mean, she stayed out much later than me, but she. I don't think Nicole went to the lap dancing club with Martin Dickey and Darren. But you didn't hear that here, and if anything gets back onto the into the tabloids, Martin Dickey was not. Elvis Dickey, as he's now known, wasn't the lap dancing club.
I know they would have gone up, but we held past the train station to privatise. Good on them. Oh yeah, that's quite fun.
So yes, anybody else? Any subjects you brought to the table? Bring it on.
Well, I have something with. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. This is it. Westbrook and Collab doing this with Mikkeller. The is it Mexican cake or something? Yeah.
Or one of these Mexican stouts.
Is it the Evil Twin? It's the Evil Twin Collab.
Yeah, Evil Twin.
Yeah.
Westbrook Collab.
Yeah.
It's a mashup of Imperial Biscotti Break and
yeah.
Which should be fun.
How much is that going to cost?
Question is, will it even hit Europe? Probably not.
No, probably. You to see you guys cans of Biscotti Break and even more Jesus.
Yeah.
And we saw them in bottles. Oh, well, we got Donut Break now too. But
oh wow.
I don't know if anybody else has tried the cans from Evil Twin, and I think they've been really poor. Not a patch on what I've had in the past.
I've never.
Actually, I've heard.
Not had an evil twin.
Yeah, Craig, you picked them up. What do you
Sounds
think?
odd to say, but
I've had them yet. I'm just,
All right.
You know,
They weren't
I don't know
what
what
I
they are,
remember them
really.
being. They were a bit kind of, but then again,
I've
that
never
might
had
just
them
be me at the
before.
point.
I've never had the bottles, so I've
Yeah.
got nothing to compare. So.
Yeah, well, exactly.
It's
If you
always
enjoy it,
gonna
you
be
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't remember I remember it being richer than the cans were. I mean, so I was really excited to see them, and they were relatively well priced.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And I was just like, I went on a really bad run of cans one night. I had a Northern Monk, which I was really looking forward to. It was shit. And then I had one of my favourite beers from Siren.
was that one of the Marks and Spencer's Northern Monk cans?
No.
Thank you.
It was. Oh, she's here. Hello, Nicole. How are you doing?
Hi. Sorry.
It's okay. Yes, and then I had
Great.
a barrel-aged version of
Nerd camera.
Caribbean chocolate cake, and I loved Caribbean chocolate cake. I think that's an absolutely incredible beer. And the barrel-aged version, I was like, oh, this is going to be fucking incredible, and it was just so disappointing. I were on a run of shit. I was like, disappointing beer after disappointing beer, and I was like, right, I'm going to end this. I'm going to get my kind of even more Jesus out, and then it was like, it's not
Insult to injury.
I was hoping. I mean, it's better than those two, but I was like, ugh.
Well, I've got them
deflated.
post. I've got them the barrel age and the other one in the post. So.
Well, I'll be interested in your opinion. Siren's reply to me was
in the background
that
the
they,
live stream though.
that they
Better.
they love it in
Tip
a
around.
different way.
Yeah, I saw the Twitter.
You there?
I think she's just talking to somebody else.
Stop it.
So there's crazy Parisian folk are just having japes. God damn it, pull it together, woman.
But no, Caribbean chocolate cake was very good, but not the barrel-aged version. I agree on that one. And I had what was it, like aloe vera or lime farmhouse ale? No, not aloe vera, farmhouse ale from Siren too. I didn't like that either. And then also that weird banana puree coffee
The banana blacklight.
Yeah.
I actually
What do you
really
mean? You
enjoyed
can't
that.
put fruit on it and call it something delicious? Come on.
It was really. See, I had that on Sunday. I've not reviewed it. We had a birthday party for my son, and I had that. I shared that with my brother-in-law, and I thought it was really good actually.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the banana blacklight.
Yeah, I liked
my
it,
first
but I wasn't
Siren
like blown
as well.
away or anything.
Oh no, I wasn't blown away, but I thought it was really tasty.
Yeah.
It's a really tasty kind of sweeter stout. But it was good. So Nicole, can you hear us now? Or are you just still messing about?
Totally messing about, mostly
Okay.
messing. Generally.
Okay.
General
So
life.
what you got? What you're opening up there?
The thing is you don't have this and you can't have it. Yeah. So thought I would do that for you. It's our seasonal. It's actually petit marron in French.
Okay.
Pumpkins.
Oh, you got a pumpkin beer.
Because I'm an American and I still
Yeah.
believe in that. No matter how many articles are written about let's destroy all the pumpkin beers and let it die and all that crap. I don't care. It's a seasonal beer and I fucking appreciate it. And as an expat living abroad, this should taste like home. I haven't tasted it yet, so fuck, I hope it tastes good.
You are a subversive beer geek, as in like you're wanting all the kind of like old school kind of trappings of the craft beer kind of movement, pumpkin beer stuff like that.
Well,
But you're railing against the current love for kind of fruited kind of IPAs and stuff like that.
who was it? What's the recent article? Who was it? Vine Pair Will again. He just wrote an article about like like everyone who writes who adds fruit to their IPAs, are they just cheating? I think that was the article.
I see. Actually, that's a good point. Actually, and I had this conversation with a guy who owns a bottle shop today. This past weekend, it was Brewdog's Collab Fest, and I went and I had 5 of them. I would have had 6, but I had one twice because it was so damn good. And that was Siren's Collab.
Siren, yeah.
$10 shake. and it was absolutely fucking amazing. But that's got kind of that had like papaya, mango, and pineapple and grapefruit or something added to it. It had a load of fruit added to it. It said it's the most fruit they've ever put in a beer, but it tasted incredible. But the conversation I was having today was, I mean, me and Peter quite recently had Congress Street from Trillium, and it's like, and my comment to the guys at Siren was, this is pretty close to Trillium.
You're totally.
But they've put shitloads of fruit in it. And
but Trillium
have put in Columbus and Galaxy, and that's it. That's all they've done, which is incredible. So it's kind of, this is a weird situation. It's like we're searching for this holy grail, these beautiful, fruity, kind of hazy kind of IPAs. And Trillium
but
are doing
the East Coast IPAs are doing it. They're the ones who are actually doing it. So when you sit here and say, if you're adding fruit to your beer and you're making some ridiculous mash of, we're putting 1 million different fruits in it, then yeah, like you're not actually creating.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. I mean, it's this kind of, we're searching for this kind of this holy grail, but the only way we kind of achieving it is by chucking a load of fruit in it.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of whether you want to stick to your sort of Reinheitsgebot or whether you want to go down the sort of lambic kind of route, isn't it? So which one's better?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, is it better to be kind of like that puritanical kind of approach and kind of achieve kind of greatness through technique and process and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Or just go? I guess we're falsifying it in a lot of ways. I mean, if you want
It's
a
like,
real kind of like
but
fruity
that being said,
flavoured beer, then you should be putting lots of hops in it. But I don't know.
I drank Elvis juice fairly recently,
That's
and that
it.
was a
Lord.
revelation.
Can we just say that the Elvis thing actually is, they actually did get a letter from the Elvis Presley estate saying cease and desist, like not legally, but they actually did get that. That was months ago. And so their stunt, although it is still like the way they do stuff, is actually real and silly.
They've not changed the names.
I know, I don't think they have either.
If they did, they did it for like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And changed it back again.
Continue. Sorry.
There might be some issues with with multiple kind of like accounts and credit accounts and kind of agreements with various investors if they choose to change their name. Can you imagine the amount of shit they'd have to go through if they chose to change their name?
Oh yeah.
It's like
married, you change your name. You're gonna go and change your bank accounts.
Yeah. Something about added fruit. I mean, a lot of these IPAs now, they've added grapefruit juice for these grapefruit IPAs. It's like they are nice, but depends what type of you want it, like pure hops, or you want.
I don't know. It's like, I think I've found my perfect IPA, and that's when you put proper grapefruit in it, because you get those grapefruit sort of flavors and grapefruit bitterness. But when you get good quality grapefruit in your IPA, I mean, granted, I've only had 2 that have used them, but they've been just so nice. And I don't know, I suppose it does go against, like, you're cheating a little bit because you've got that hot build that you generate all these flavors. But I'm a firm believer that genuine grapefruit in an IPA is a beautiful thing.
But like grapefruit juice, grapefruit pith, where in the brew session, and when you first said that, I thought you were saying you just took a beer and you were putting grapefruit juice in it.
No, I would never falsify.
I have.
For my own
I have.
needs. Although I've heard that when you put a little bit of bourbon in a beer,
in a stout,
yeah, you can get actually a nice fake bourbon aged beer.
Kind of a good idea.
I've tried sometimes if I've bought a stout which I've potentially paid a fair bit of money for, and it's just not kind of hitting the mark, or there's a bit of a hole in it. I have added kind of vanilla essence to it because I like sweet stouts. So if it's just something which is a bit like, it's kind of something and nothing. This is missing something. Get some kind of vanilla essence from the like bacon cabinet. Bit of that high quality vanilla essence in it. Tell you, it's an upgrade.
Saying that, Peter, I've done that. I've added a bit of bourbon to a big stout just to.
I've never done it
really.
But like in it, like you put it in it, like you literally take the glass and like
mix it in
Just
You're not even
gives
gonna
you
try
the-
and be classy and like do it like doubles? No. Like, oh, I just have this. No.
No,
Or just pouring the beer into the bourbon.
it's all the same. Where you have it, you're still gonna get pissed. So
Truth.
Why do bourbon infused beer? You could just do beer infused bourbon.
Oh, James.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well. True.
Oh,
wait, have you guys seen this? Like, there was a great article this week. Whiskey. Okay, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to say, were you just holding off because you're going to give away some of your content for free? Before you were like, I've got a great story.
I got a great
I don't want to give away for free.
I give it to anybody for free. Anybody that wants to listen. Hey, listen up. I got these things. No, what's great is that, okay, so I know everybody here. Hi, hello. We all know each other. So, yeah, the World Beer News thing that I'm doing, I just love it. I love that I'm collaborating. I'm bringing in new people that aren't even actually even super beer geeks. So I have other people who are like submitting stuff who aren't in, like, yeah, they're not super beer geeky, but they're getting involved in something, and I like that. I like that I have people from around the world like giving me weird stories, which I dig. Like, hi, I'm in the middle of nowhere and I saw this, and it's related to like the malt beverage industry, which is interesting. And yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like being able to follow it too. It gives me a reason to like be in it, I guess.
Does it take a lot of work though? I mean, it's from my kind of like from this side of the screen, it seems like, wow, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, like a lot, like hours, like 8 hours. Like each video probably takes 8 to 10 hours of editing.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm a weirdo. Like even like James, like thank you. Obviously, he was in last week. God bless you. And so far, you have been the only person to like honestly understand like that. I just want someone to come in, look, like check out the story, give an honest like report on it, and that story is like gold. Because I mean, come on, like it blows my mind just that little point of the fact that Carlsberg and the Laos government own 99% of the market in Laos. Like, oh, there's a 1% that we're just like pretending exists. It's so perfect. And your little wrap up at the end of like, we're gonna continue to follow the story, and like, it's because it is like, who's paying attention to this?
I just guess what you want.
Stop! I don't. You made it great. You really. I mean, come on. That was. I love it. I don't mean, God. I just think it's. I don't get. People don't pay attention to this. People look in their little area and they're like, "Oh, beer releases and this is happening," which is great. But we are part of a really large market, and we can't just complain about AB InBev and Molson Coors, and we can't just do that. You have to look at these other things. That's the market will move that way as well. Like once Europe is fully integrated into the maker craft movement, then we're gonna start moving eastward. And these countries like Thailand.
Russia, Japan. I mean, Russia has a big craft beer movement now. There's I was talking to
Huge.
I'll collaborate with him over the next little while. But he knows a couple of guys out in Russia, and he knows Russian bloggers that only drink Russian beer because there's that many breweries. Like the Russian market is huge, and you can look at Poland as well. Poland's producing some really awesome stuff, and from what I'm hearing down in Ukraine, there's a lot of things too. So there's some really interesting stuff. I mean, in Japan, I think must have around 500 or 600 craft breweries. Granted, the quality there isn't quite the same, and their distribution network is straight. You're still having a horse and cart out there. But you know,
Well, we don't hear about that.
there's some really
It's
interesting things.
overshadowed.
I've had an incredible Imperial IPA from Russia. Absolutely fantastic.
Really?
It's actually Gecko Andre, who sent a bunch of stuff from the UK. He brought out an Imperial IPA one time from Russia, and it was damn good. I've got a friend who's a kind of like a beer consultant for Russia as well. I mean, he's shown me photographs of this brew pub in, I don't know which city it is, a major city. It's essentially looks like a nightclub, and then there's like a bar and a stage, and then behind it's just like walls of fermenters and blue neon lights. It's kind of nuts in a kind of like a Russian 1980s kind of nightmare. I mean, you can imagine some kind of like kind of Jean-Claude Van Damme kind of like film taking place there. But I mean, there's an interest. There is an interest in it.
I want to heave it now.
Oh, lovely.
South America as well. I mean, there's a big market in Santiago and Chile and stuff like that. So I might get to head down there with the PhD and stuff there. We should finish, but I'll keep an eye on that.
I just heard nothing you said, James. What the F?
I just your robot.
You were like a cyborg. Your connection is worse than. Don't leave. Don't leave.
What's going on? I don't know what's going on.
You're on dial-up, that's why.
What's going
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
What does
He's
that
on
mean?
dial-up. It's the page
Now you sound better now. Clear your electronic throat.
Don't say it.
I thought it was just me. I was just being polite. It's so British.
So they didn't get the. I mean, the
So the
coding.
sliding scale of it all. I mean, Peter is like even more polite than us. He's so Danish and lovely. It's like, I'm just going to keep quiet. I'm just us English. I go, oh yes. I'm doing my best to decipher what you're saying.
Duh. Wait, what did you just say? You said something?
I'm saying there's South America starting. I've got a guy who sent me a few Brazilian beers and things like that, and he's telling me there's I think he sent some to you, Peter, as well, actually. Fabrizio.
Yeah.
Crazy Fabrizio. He's brilliant. He sent me some Brazilian beers, and he's saying there's a lot of stuff coming out of Santiago in Chile now. Like they've got a huge thing going on. The Chileans are really getting into that, and I think Argentina's starting, and Brazil's already got a lot of things going on.
They're called Dogma, and they're making beer on par with like some of the greater American breweries and whatnot. I tried their England style IPA while I was at CBC. It's very similar to something like Heady Topper.
Wow.
So it just
amazing.
depends. I mean, this New England trend is blowing up now, and I think what is going to happen is going to happen the same that happened. It blows up. Everyone's going to make West Coast or New England style at one point, and then hopefully the trend will evolve to something else. Because that's one of the cool things with beer is to do it. Like the Scandinavians now, like they're not really doing the New England thing, but they're doing like with Omnipollo and some breweries here in Denmark. But no, Brazil has a great beer scene too. So yeah, all over the world.
Very timely, Peter, as you said. Oh yeah. It's about that time of the evening. You have
Just had
hit the bumper. You've just got it.
I still have bottles of Sunday in my beer cellar. So
Peter,
I've never been able to find that one in Sweden yet. Find it.
Anagram. I had an anagram on Saturday night. I loved it so much. I went and bought more on Sunday morning. It's just absolutely fucking incredible.
How much did you pay for that, Rob?
What, for anagram?
Yeah.
It's a tenner.
That's good.
No, it's not. It's very expensive,
online.
but you mean whatever.
No, but it's a tenner online. So,
Yeah. Online's usually a bit cheaper than bottle shops, but you mean.
Right. No,
It tastes like stout and blueberry pancakes. It's just it's so damn good.
I think
Double
I
back,
got
I
that
think.
I got that one for like 60 crowns, I think, here in Sweden. That's one of the good things actually about Systembolaget. Its distribution is shite, but the cost, it actually does keep the cost of beers down. You get a big bottle of these Omnipollos for £6. That's a pretty good deal, I think. Well, it would have been less than that because the pound was good then, but yeah.
and I guess depending if you're relatively local to where Omnipollo are doing their majority of their business, because he posts quite often, does Henrik, about like this is going on sale tomorrow in Systembolaget, and I'm always going, yeah, we'll never see that. So James, you've got no excuse. Every time Henrik posts something, you've got to go and
I just
break down those
one
rules.
yesterday, the outside the lines, the one they did with Trillium, and that was a more kind of classic imperial stout. It wasn't really one of these cakey ones that they do. So that was quite an interesting kind of turn of pace.
Oh, well, yeah.
It reminded me a wee bit of like kind of Black Hole from
Mikkeller, yeah. I hate that.
And that's one of the best beers they've done.
I don't like Black Hole. I don't like black. Something about those two beers, I just think they're just dirty hot messes.
Wait, can I just get like from because I speak with a lot of American bloggers and people who do podcasts and whatnot. And first of all, it's Mikkeller or Mikkeller.
I'll call it.
Well, I think we've got someone who can speak with authority on that part.
So
Peter, would you like to?
in Danish, his name is Mikkel. So it's Mikkel. Mikkeller. Some people say, yeah, Mikkeller. I think that's actually. I'm trying to pronounce it like I'm from Copenhagen now because of like what they say. And here up north we say Mikkeller, but it's the first part is Mikkel, which is his name, and then it's kind of mashed up with Mikkel and the other guy who helped start it back in the day called Christian Keller. So I don't think there's a right or wrong pronunciation because you can emphasis on Keller or you can put emphasis on Mikkel. So whatever.
Problem solved. People ask this often. They bounce back and forth. They can never figure it out. And then, like second part, is it good? Often people in the States find Mikkeller to not be delicious. Most recent, there was a podcast called The Beerists, which are really good. They're great. And they had a Mikkeller beer. They had the Berliner Weiss with the peach, which I found to be fine. They hated it. They said it wasn't on style. They get constantly, like on this one in particular, and then also there have been a couple times on Chris Quinn's podcast. There's another one, I can't think of the name, but they seem to have this like super high expectation of Mikkeller, and then when they get it, it's like
disappointed.
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
Does that happen here though?
Because
we're all international.
Well,
I think my opinion on Mikkeller. Hey, come on now.
Mikkeller.
Come on, man. Mikkeller, as we say in Copenhagen. I think they do, well, from my opinion, they do too much stuff. They just do too much stuff. And it's all about who's brewing the beer for them. Once upon a time, I think a lot of the best stuff what they were producing was from Nørgne. And then some of the better beers they're doing at the moment are probably from Lervig.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I think they're probably still doing a few bits and bats down at De Molen, I think, as well. I mean,
right.
No, De Molen, I don't think. It's 100% De Prof. Then
the Prof stuff can be.
Yeah, it's like with the Prof, and then like almost all stouts are except the ones in 37 whatever centiliter bottles. They're at De Molen, but the other stouts, the regular Beer Geek beers and all those are made at Lervig, which also just made the new batch of bourbon vanilla shake, which is fucking awesome.
I saw that. Yeah,
I think Lervig are good. I mean, the fit for purpose of Lervig. I mean, I guess before. I mean, actually, was it? So, what was the lineage of that? I guess it was it Nørgne and did Fano Bryghouse brew much of the?
No, Fano.
Or was that the
Fano didn't do anything. It was Evil Twin.
Okay, that was it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Lervig, I think they did some great stuff. I mean, Free Bean from Lervig, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, yeah, I was disappointed in the bourbon barrel aged version, though. It was not nearly as fudgy and cakey as the regular.
Yeah,
it was thinner.
That's absolutely storming.
With Mikkeller, though, do you think that the one thing I always think about Mikkeller is that in Copenhagen, you've now got, whenever I go there, you've got now such a high standard of things.
Yeah.
Mikkeller are not at the same level of some of the other breweries. If you have some of the early Mikkeller beers, they are definitely like, you know, if you go to Black Hole or something like that, you know, for me that's a lot better than the other ones to do. But if you go to, for me, a much more solid brewery, I think one of the best around just now is Modern. I think Total are better. You've got Ghost Brewing. You've got
but Total are doing a lot of this stuff at Dipperoff anyway. So I mean, there's no kind of.
I think what you're saying about Mikkeller just producing too many things.
Yeah.
Total don't have as many beers, I would say.
Right.
But I think is. I mean, the Keller's beers aren't bad, but you know, Totals are just better now. They are just better. Total, I don't think have had a drop in standard. You know, whenever you try Total beer, you're still like, oh shit, this is good. There's so many breweries now. Like I say, if you go to like Ghost or Ghost Brewing or something like that, and you've got a Warburg. So Warburg is one of the best in Europe. I think. Easy.
Yeah, Omnipollo have had some inconsistencies lately, though, with their keg stuff. I think they're trying to figure out what's wrong, but some batches look like we got batches of Todd the X-Man on keg, and it looked like it was oxidized or something like that, or maybe some lactic bacteria or something had gone into a keg because the color was so much darker. But I think they're having a look at it now because all their bottled beers have been no problems, but the keg stuff has been a bit weird. But it's been some cakes have been weird, and then some have been fine, and so I don't know. No, there's a lot of great breweries in Denmark right now. I'd say two of the upcoming ones that are really interesting at the moment is Ale. I can't stress that enough in every single Ale Farm beer review I do because they're fucking awesome. And then also Penny Lane, which is on the island of Bornholm. I don't think they've distributed really outside of Bornholm yet. I have yet to try their beer, but it's just so promising because it started by one of the biggest figures in craft beer in the country, Christian Skovdal Andersen, who started one of the early days. He started Ølfabrikken, which is one of the original Danish craft breweries. And then after that, he moved on to work with the Gourmet Brewery. Both of those were bought off by a bigger brewery. He started his own thing over with beer here, and then he's been doing beer here for a while. And now he's moving on to this Penny Lane with his wife. And it seems very interesting because it's focused a lot on using local ingredients from the island and all kinds of stuff, and a lot of spontaneously fermented beers. And I just can't wait for them to bottle shit and send out.
I had the Beer Geek Limfos Porter on Saturday. That was really good.
It is.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's a funny one.
Beer Geek Limfos Porter. So I mean, it's a blend of kind of Beer Geek breakfast and I guess it's a really kind of iconic Danish beer is Limfos Porter, which is the regular one licorice? Does the regular one have licorice in it?
Yeah, the Tista Limfos Porter is
it's a supermarket beer, but it's damn good.
But it's fucking
the first
good.
beer when I got to Copenhagen last year, we were just down the road from quite a big supermarket. So I've got to make sure I go and check out, see if they've got Limfos Porter. So Peter loves it. I've got to try that beer. First beer I went and got before I bother go to a Mikkeller bar or anything like that. Limfos Porter. Had to try it.
Wait, what is everybody drinking exactly? Is everybody drinking right now?
I am. Which is a lovely combination actually. I've got
you have two beers.
Yeah, I've got Cantillon Creek and Omnipollo. I'm going to say Omnipollo, James. I know it's not correct, but I'm saying Omnipollo. I'm from Yorkshire.
Omnipollo.
Omnipollo, the omnipotent chicken.
It's Hypnopompa, which is one of my favourite beers. Absolutely bloody love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wait, what are you mixing it with? Wait, what is that?
I'm not mixing it. I'm mixing it kind of retroactively.
It's in your mouth. You're belly mixing. So how much does that cost? Your belly mix right now, for you?
About About 13 quid probably. Yeah, so you're
that's
looking about 40.
expensive here.
That's all right. That's not cheap either. It's a Tuesday
Is
night.
it?
What are you going to do?
Okay. Sold. Peter, what are you drinking?
I was drinking.
drinking?
I was drinking tea because I need to be up at 5 in the morning to go brew beer at 6 o'clock. So I'm thinking about heading off soon too.
Wait, why are you brewing beer exactly? Where are you? What?
Because I'm doing a 3-month internship so that I can at a brewery, so I can start on the Scandinavian brewing school and do a certified craft brewer program, and then hopefully work in a brewery after that, and then do their program on becoming a certified brewmaster. So
That'd be good.
What? That's great.
Yeah. So right now I'm working at a local brewery, and I've actually already, like this I mentioned earlier, been doing some doing one beer with them, which is like a New England style IPA we're going to try and brew. We tried it brewing, and it's smelling fucking amazing right now. But no, so the one tomorrow is just like a house beer that's going to be around for Christmas for locals, because it's also a restaurant. So they have usually a smaller selection of house beers that they know that they can sell and push because the market here isn't as big. So it's a Christmas beer. It's like a lager, darker lager with some Christmas spices.
Make one promise though. Make one promise that you don't quit the channel like everybody else does. Everybody gets a beer job and then they quit the channels.
What are you trying to say, Rob?
No.
What are you trying to say? Like, I don't have a job? Like, we don't have jobs?
You know what I mean? Like a beery job like Jack and everybody.
I'm not planning on quitting the channel anytime soon. I'm not.
Like Ryan and stuff.
I just thought it'd be there's a few people who stopped, but no, I'm not planning on stopping. People really love my latest, weirdest little Oktoberfest thing, so I'll probably doing more with food, but no, I still really like doing reviews. So, but this is just nice because I want to learn more about brewing other than home brewing, and you need all that practical experience, and I have a brewery 5 minutes from me, so why not do an internship there and start from there? So
cool.
But yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with
tea.
that now. So
only
I'm gonna hit out.
The only excuse.
It's a good excuse too, though.
It's good.
Fine.
I'm not working. I've got the day off tomorrow, so it don't matter.
Oh, nice. But yeah, I'm gonna head off now, so I can go to bed and get ready for tomorrow. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, good luck with the brewing. Send us beer.
Yes. Don't say he's a Simon. He gets enough.
Sorry, selfish.
Everything is keg, so I'll have to send you guys a keg each. So that'd be expensive.
Fine.
Fine.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
See you later.
Mm-hmm.
There he goes.
Don't know where Peter's gone.
Yeah, Pete's gone.
Yeah, no, the other Peter.
No, the other one.
I need beer.
He's being back. Okay, cool. So, any comments, questions, subjects? Bring it on.
Oh, need beer. Really?
That's where he went. Yes.
That's great. Like for a fucking beer run. Classic.
Exactly. Yes.
So, but wait, where do people comment? I don't understand what's happening.
There's a sidebar. There's a sidebar. Which that's the secret. Don't be.
But this is us. I'm like, hi.
Yeah.
Like
I'm on my mobile.
Yeah, that's us. But you can also go on the thing. I can go on there. We do have comments. I will look at them. And there's not many. And they're mainly from a wonderful UK subscriber called Matt Stanley Farfood. Oh, there we go. So we're going back a while. So what was it? It's a guy called Diego Abrao. Craig is saying hi to you.
Who's that?
Diego.
Oh, right.
Hi,
okay.
Diego.
Yeah, he's saying hi, Craig, and he says,
does
Nitch have a YouTube channel? And Doc Hendricks said, yeah. So it's just those two guys kind of like chin-wagging between the Craig. You have some Portuguese crafts for you guys. It would be awesome to see those reviewed. He's
the guy who's setting up a bottle shop on Funchal in Madeira.
Ah, right, that's it.
So I'm going to take a few beers out with me. I'm going around Christmas time for I don't know how long. So
Because
he's gonna
his
get-
wife
he's gonna-
is from Portugal.
yeah, he's going to get some Portuguese craft beer, and we're going to do an exchange.
Ah,
That'd be good.
I was in Lisbon. The beer that I had when I was in Lisbon, honestly, I was at, this is a weird bit, like I was at a divey place late at night.
There's
a
a
bit
shocker.
drunk. Shut up, Rob. Shut up, Rob. And you know when you go up to the bar that's like a makeshift thing, and you're like, yeah, I'll have nothing because I want nothing that you have. And the lady said, oh well, we have beer or this alcohol, and I said, oh, give me your stupid whatever beer. Right,
Beer
that'll be like
alcohol.
yeah, like we have the alcohol
Like
over here and
moonshine.
beer, and I was like, oh, give me your stupid beer. And it was super cheap, like €2, and had this beautiful label. And I was like, what? This is actually beautiful. She said, yeah, some people down the street make it. It's good. It's like really hoppy, but I like it. And I'm like, you have that like 3 a.m, mind blow. Like I just paid €2, and it was delicious. It was a really good beer, and a lot of the beer that I had in Portugal were well done. It impresses me because in France, consistently our beer is
It's really going. It's really taken off. Certainly in the south of Portugal, it's there's a lot of craft breweries there now. Guy Diego who commented, he knows a lot of the craft. He goes over quite regularly from Madeira. I've had 1 or 2 there last year or no, in the springtime. There's a brewery called, is it Matilda Craft Brewery? They're not far out of the Algarve kind of area, within about an hour's drive. And I was really kind of blown away by them, really. I've never heard of them before. And basically, all you get in the main kind of touristy areas are German, like Francis Keiner's.
Bit of Superbook.
Yeah, and it's a bit sort of like that. And I mean, you can still get what's the other? A lot of Belgian kind of stuff, but the main,
So what
Chimay
what makes this beer exceptional? Like what makes it different from like all the other beers?
It's just really well made, away from the kind of the usual kind. Most of it's lagers though. There's like Superbark and Sagres and stuff like that, which is basically mainstream lagers.
Right, but the locals are not making lagers. The locals are making pale ale, IPA. Because these, to me, I feel like you
basically lagers. There's a brewery on Madeira. It's called
the
Corral.
locals are making lagers.
Yeah. There's a brewery on the island of Madeira. They've got their own brand. But it's craft beer starting to come in there, and he's going to open his own bar / shop in January in Funchal. So that's going to be really cool.
But I respect like a well-made lager.
Oh yeah, no, but it's just a general, not like a nice pilsner.
I see. There's an interesting point. I mean, there's a conversation I was having earlier today as well, and this takes me back to a couple of weeks ago when I was at Indie Band Beer Con. Johnny from Craft Beer Channel, one of the beers that he suggested to me, there's a brewery making kind of like some waves in the UK called Lost and Grounded. Who are primarily doing kind of say-so stuff, but also the like Keller beers and stuff like that. So quite traditional style stuff, but leading, a new brewery, quite a buzz about them, but leading with primarily lagers. And for me, it's kind of like, well, I don't think the craft beer scene gets excited about lagers. So I mean, as good as it is and as well made as it is, I don't think. I know we live in a bubble within a bubble, actually. But goodness me, look at the state of us. We're like, it's a Tuesday night. we're on YouTube and we're talking about beer. We're a bubble within a bubble within a bubble within a bubble. So I mean, I'm fully aware of that, but I don't think the broader craft beer kind of like enjoying public. I don't think it's lagers that really grab people's attention.
Yeah.
So I found it really brave, and I'm slightly questionable that anybody who's a startup would start with, would try and push forward with a lager. I know the general populace, that is primarily what they drink. But if you want to make a name for yourself, for me, I don't know. I might be naive, or it might be just my kind of inward-looking beer appreciation that I think.
Corral is just a basic your local brewery that does lager. It's not a craft brewery or anything like that. It's just and that's it really. But he's gonna get a place and have a bar, craft beer bar. He's gonna import it and bottles as well. It's going to be really expensive though, I think. That was his only concern, the pricing of shipping out there. That's
how it goes. I mean, that's come on, that's craft beer, isn't it? Really? But, importing, exporting, that's the premium product.
So it's just like, but I'll support it when I'm out there. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't honestly sit here. I mean, I do get, Rob, that we live in bubbles, and people that want to get in our bubble also think that what we appreciate are just like massive amounts of hops and ill-balanced beers that showcase one or another ingredient. But being able to, I mean, from the beer geek standpoint, making a lager is very difficult. Peter was here, he would not be making, he'd say no making lagers. So it's advantageous that they're doing that, and you're grabbing this market of people who drink lagers anyway. Like most of the middle ground people, I mean, everyone who hasn't been converted, quote unquote, probably is drinking lagers.
Yeah, if you've got a hoppy lager,
or even just a lager that's like made well. I mean, but it's
but it isn't just a hoppy lager or pale ale at the end of the day. When you try a hoppy lager, it has the taster notes, it has the body of like a very hopped up lager. And I think there is room for lagers because, like Nicole was just saying, it's such a hard thing to master. And as much as we might not like the Budweisers and that sort of stuff, they do have like a really... I'm not defending them, by the way.
Peter, somewhere.
You've got a really kind of refined process, isn't it? It's all
it is a very refined brewing technique.
It's all down to the chemistry and stuff again, isn't it?
But I said I needed a beer. I actually ran across the road to the local garage because I didn't want to break into my the Italian stuff that was bought for me because I want to review it. So I just picked some local German Helles beers, and to me, they get the job done. They're just good to sit back with. But
when I went to Germany, I really felt I loved Hefeweizen's before, but then I really got more into the Helles beers when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to. That's one of the things I would say when it comes to the lager beers. I don't know. I would always just prefer the German Helles rather than the Pils. I think it's just got that little bit more kind of body to it. But I think it's interesting too to think about. Like Rob was talking about the startup breweries. Like I watched your video about the Kingpin. The Kingpin lager that Brewdog was just released. And let's just talk about the hoppiness as well. And I was thinking, you had This Is Lager, and then you have Kingpin, and you can see that. I think what you're saying is right. It's only the bigger breweries, once they get to a certain size, they want to expand the customer base. So that's when they start doing lagers.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that with Brewdog, between the This Is Lager and the Kingpin, they've actually gone and made it more kind of multi-focused than hop-focused. The This Is Lager was quite hoppy. The Kingpin is now quite malty, and I've noticed that I've just noticed it with Brewdog because those are the two I've looked at, but that does seem to be a bit of a trend with a couple of different breweries just now. They're making lagers, but actually making them more focused on the pale malts and the bready malts and things like that. And I think it is purely a commercial thing. I don't think they're to try and expand their customer base. I don't think it's really aimed at the craft beer drinker, even though it's you're supposed to be punk and all of this. But
I mean, I remember early doors of Brewdog. When my mate opened the Manchester bar, he said he wouldn't have 77 lager on because it was all those people who came in wanting lager. He didn't want to give them lager. He could either say either try and convert them and say, "Do you want to try this? Or do you want to try that?" Or they can go elsewhere because they were like, "We don't need it." But then obviously a decision was made somewhere down the line. It was like, okay, we can't let those people walk away. We want to get £6 a pint out of them, and then they can go away, and then maybe they'll come back. But it doesn't really matter if they don't come back anyway, because then maybe they just wanted a pint of lager, and then they got repeat customers. Anyway. Yeah, I guess that's the weird thing, isn't it? I mean, because I think going back to what Nicole's original point, it's kind of like, yeah, I think I appreciate, and I think for us, kind of beer geeks, I think it's the more traditional kind of like the lagers that have been around a long time. Yeah. I love Yiva. Or as my mate says, Jeva. It's not Jeva. He says, I'm from Ormskirk. It's Jeva. but it's got such a different flavour profile. It's really herbaceous. It's really sharp. I really like. I love it. It's my most watched video review, which is bonkers.
Oh, sorry, Rob.
No. So I mean, I mean, it's kind of like if you go back. My interest in beer started along with kind of Belgian stuff and traditional German stuff. So it was decent lagers and it was Weissbier and stuff like that. So if I ever go back to those kind of more traditional styles, I'll go back to the iconic ones. I mean, if I want a wheat beer, it'd be Schneiderweiss or something like that. Mm-hmm. Because I think you kind of trust. I mean, as a beer geek, you kind of trust kind of those iconic breweries, but you don't think if it's something new, you don't go, oh yeah, I'll check out the Hefeweizen. Because if you go, nah, I'll have a Weinstefner if I want a Hefeweizen. So I don't know. That might be just my kind of like warped kind of like approach on this kind of beer drinking kind of thing. But
I think if I wasn't living in Germany, I would probably be more. I mean, I'm really invested in craft beer because I just love the actual craft of good beer, no matter what side of the scale it falls on. But being in Germany and in such a small university city where you've only got one bottle shop where their range could be really good one week and then the next couple of weeks it could just be like really old stock. I mean, they're doing a deal now where when you spend €20 or more, you'll get 4 cans of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale because it's past the sell-by date because there's not enough people
buying it. Wait, what? That's legal? They can do that?
Yeah, they just do that. They'll just promote on Facebook, say, oh, if you pay €20 for this next 2 days on craft beer, we'll throw in 4 cans of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. But I don't know, it's
still delicious. Sierra Nevada will live until the end of time and it'll still be delicious.
Exactly. But it's like, I think because I'm surrounded by the tradition in Germany, even though there's a big boom in the craft scene all over Germany now, you'll just, because you're so used to going to the supermarket and buying like 3 or 4 beers for like €4, like Hellas beers, Dunkel beers, that sort of stuff, you start to appreciate it a little bit more. Because I was only really starting to get into craft beer like maybe a year or so before I moved to Germany, so I couldn't really take advantage of like Magic Rock, Siren, Thornbridge, Wild Beer Company. And I don't know, it's just weird. I find it so strange, like depending on location. Like you see a lot of American beer reviewers. I mean, Jay Terrio reviewed Foster's today, and that was like a big thing for him. There was like a whole spiel about the distribution of Foster's. But that's the thing, it's like in America, that is something that's it's not a novelty, but it's hard to come by. But for us, we're just like that. Yeah, that's what I used to drink when I was like 18.
Yeah. That was.
I don't touch that stuff
that's
again.
not a beer either. You know, in Australia, no one drinks that.
Yeah,
either.
That's just a poor. That's a poor beverage decision. Essentially.
Yeah,
like
it's a very
like
unfortunate
not
beverage decision.
You used to drink that.
Jay likes bad beer. That's okay.
You used to drink that all the time.
Yeah, that was me too. I mean, in the Royal Oak in Crofton, over the road from my high school.
Just so much.
We always used to get our friend's grandma to buy us a 24-pack of Fosters. It's like I don't want to ever put anyone in that position ever again for the
24 pack of Fosters. Nice.
24 pack of Fosters, like 3 or 4
24
17-year-olds.
One's bad enough.
Exactly.
It's a tenant super lager up north of the border.
Yeah.
I think that there's something in that, is that a lot of us, and this I think is going to change with like the coming generations, is that part of the reason why we are beer geeks and the reason why we are so passionate about this movement is because we lived through that like beer apocalypse where we just we had nothing, you know. It was like we just had nothing. We had it was just a desert, and this is what you had, and you had lots of it, and you had no choice. And so now, what I feel like when you talk about what you're looking for in craft beer is you want an experience. Like every time you want the label, you want the visual, you want the scent, you want all of it. But beer didn't use it. No, but I mean, it's just well, we have standards. We have standards. I mean, I think it's a thing. But there is a time when that just didn't happen. So if you think now, like generations that are going to be coming up, I mean, they have options. Like they're not going to be living like that. And for them, the idea of just a really well-made, basic, I can drink this one beer all day, all the time, and it will always taste like this. It will be great. It'll be great for them.
Yeah, no, but that in turn has a kind of like a the flip side of that is, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, because now I think even with people like us, things become you kind of take it for granted, and it becomes slightly the great stuff becomes slightly dull because it's not exceptional. You become spoiled. It's
specialist, Rob. That's different. Shit beer still tastes like shit. Okay, there's
shit. I mean, it's
still
like,
shit. I tasted the shit beer, and it's bad.
Craft beer for modern people, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so like in your man BeerCon, which was a couple of weeks ago now. I mean, I went Friday night and Saturday afternoon, and I think Friday night I knocked off the ones that I kind of wanted to have. Yeah, thankfully, they were mainly on that night. Saturday, if you'd have asked me after Saturday's session what was good, I'd have said, well, it was all good. I didn't have anything bad, but there was nothing that jumped out at me. And that's the next step in it. It's like I want things to just fucking like blow my head off now because is it because I'm jaded? If it's because I've just had kind of remarkable experiences and stuff like that. Admittedly, on when I do, as you will see when I post my review of the Omnipollo anagram, that is just, and I'm always in search of that moment. I always reference Zach Avery's review of Pliny the Elder, which is going back a number of years now. If you watch Zach's video, it's about 3 minutes long, and it's just wonderful. He just captures everything I constantly search for in this kind of silliness that we do. And this is back when people couldn't get Elder Pliny, and he's got it in the UK, and he sniffs it and he just laughs, and he drinks it and just laughs, and it's this wonderful moment. It's searching for that kind of wonderful moment that you just you don't expect it, or you do expect it, and it just goes beyond that. It's just a wonderful moment. And I said that bottle of anagram, that was one of those moments. I won't spoil the surprise. I think it's quite a fun little video, but I think it's just one of those moments where you go, "This is fucking amazing, yes!" It's like that. It's just. And when I had the $10 shake, sorry, Craig. When I had the $10 shake collab fest, the Brewdogs thing, the Siren, stupidly fruity beer. Sorry, Nicole. They put loads of fruit in it, and it was, and I was chatting to a mate on Twitter.
Have a fucking milkshake if that's what you want.
And I said to him, beer like this makes me smile, and that it's those moments. That's what I'm always searching for. But in the interim, have we become kind of spoiled? And yes,
I think it's interesting as well to think about. Like, for example, if you go back, I know in Scotland this was the case, and probably in quite a lot of other countries too. There used to be so many different breweries, and then they all just disappeared, and then it was piss lager for about 40, 50 years, and then all of a sudden this movement's come back up. I mean, there's no reason to say. But no, I think Germany is one of the few countries, and probably Belgium and Czech Republic as well. But these are some of the countries really where the country for this microbrew culture has survived, is it not? Like where it's been constant.
James, go. Wait, I don't understand what you just said. Go back.
Oh, I'm saying that it's interesting. All right. I'm saying it's interesting to think that there was all these little microbreweries at one point, and then in Scotland or England or wherever, then they all disappeared and they were replaced by like piss lager breweries. So there's nothing to say that this, that kind of thing can happen again. The microbreweries might all disappear, but interestingly, do you not think that?
Yeah, I know you're getting it. I mean, it's the whole kind of like once upon a time. There were really good beer. I mean, if you look back in kind of like the brewing history, like in the UK, there was some really good beer. I mean, you look in Scotland, it were all kind of like 80 shillings and stuff like that. Beer, really good beer existed, and then it was like the 1970s, 1980s when we started getting kind of like it was when international travel became a little bit more affordable, and that's when people of that generation started going to the continent, primarily Europe, and drinking kind of shitty lager, and it was that aspirational kind of like 70s, 80s kind of society that kind of brought lager over here, and that's when the whole rubbish cask, what is red barrel? Right, Craig, stop showing off. That's when all that kind of like crap came in, or the bag keg, and that's where we find ourselves, especially in the UK, is that kind of like stupid, ill-informed camera approach to keg.
Yeah.
Because they're always thinking, it's Watney's Red Barrel, it's Worthington's Smooth Flow, it's all that kind of shit that was made in the 80s to combat kind of macro lager because of the seduction of kind of the lifestyle portrayed by kind of lager throughout their kind of like marketing campaigns and stuff, which kind of killed off ale because it wasn't kind of seen as a desirable product, and it kind of still isn't in a lot of ways.
It's interesting in a way, though, if you think about Germany. If you look at the other side of the coin, Germany has never, ever given up on that brauhaus culture. It's always been there, and it probably always will be. But then you've got these new more American-style breweries coming in now that will supplement these brauhouses. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the kind of traditional styles survive that, especially when you've got, there is going to be a population shift. Germany, I think, has the same issue that a lot of countries have. It's a very top-heavy population at the moment. So it's quite interesting to think, in Germany, will the things like the Doppelbocks and the Weizen survive, or will the American beer styles take over? I mean, I think they will.
They will, but it'll take a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Because my experience both times at the beer festival that we've had in this city was you get a lot of people, not necessarily like the older generation, but the younger generation around the 20s, 30s, who still they'll try the session pale ale that was brewed for the festival, and they were like, what's this? This is horrible. Because they're so used to like the Hellers, the wheat beer.
It's probably the bitterness, I guess.
Yeah, but the bitterness does put a lot of people off.
Yeah.
And
it's what they used to, though.
Yeah, and it's like going back to the brauhaus culture. I live in a very tiny city, all things considered. And there's probably about 4 major breweries in the city. But then there's about 5 to 6, I'd say, like brew pubs, who the only way you can drink their beer is if you go to that specific brew pub. They'll never bottle it.
Yeah.
They'll never make it widely available. And I don't know. It's sort of a good thing and a bad thing. It's like this whole: is the Reinheitsgebot a good thing or a bad thing? Because it's established a brewing tradition in Germany that's put them quite highly esteemed.
Yeah,
But,
this is the thing. This is one of the things that
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, this is quite interesting because I've never actually figured this out with the Reinheitsgebot. I know that they say it's the law, it's the German purity law, but is it actually illegal to disobey that law in Germany?
I don't think it's actually enforced.
No.
Just
You can't say beer on the label. That's all that happens. You just can't put it won't have their like proper labeling. That's all. You can make it. Like obviously Stone is there making their beer and it's not a problem. It's just but at the same time, Stone is Reinheitsgebot.
You just can't say beer.
Exactly.
With the Reinheitsgebot.
It's just hops, malt, yeast, and water. I mean, you can do a hell of a lot with that.
Yeah, you can.
You don't have to be just. But I guess that's the thing. I mean, and I guess we see kind of like multiple sides of it now. I mean, collectively. I mean, is that the question? That is a traditional beer culture an important thing, or like a thing that should be kind of like held on to kind of like with kind of like great force? Because I mean, but then like Nicole, for example, I mean, you're American, we've noticed. But America is so kind of like American craft beer scene is the most influential craft beer scene in the world.
But I have yet to try an East Coast IPA, so I'm American with no understanding of the country.
But you mean that is what I mean. Everything that will be, all the kind of exciting stuff that's probably in Germany, all the exciting stuff what's probably being brewed in France, in the UK, is influenced by America. But in turn, that has been influenced by a traditional brewing culture, which is, for me, it's got to evolve. It's got to continue to evolve. And when it doesn't, then
I find.
Exactly. I mean, and in the UK it does, but in certain circles it can be sluggish. Probably Germany's a little bit more of an exaggerated version of that because they didn't have, because they've got such an ingrained beer culture. If you go to Scandinavia, maybe not quite as much, so it's a little bit more flexible. So they had kind of like big crappy lagers, but they didn't have like a drinking culture. They don't have good lager. They don't have Weiss beer. I mean, if you go to Belgium, you've got all the fantastic beers in Belgium. Why do you want more? I mean, I think that's often the question. Why do we want anything? Well, we've got all this. We've got quads and triples and blah blah blah. I mean, so much great stuff. Why do we want this American style stuff?
People just like pushing the boundaries, though. I think, even though we've got what we've got.
But the consumers want that. I mean, on the whole, probably not. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the bigger question, isn't it?
I think brewers probably want it though as well. They want to try different things.
Some.
Depends on what kind of a brewer you're talking about. If you're talking about a brewer that wants to go push buttons every day, no, don't tell him he needs to be creative. You want someone to have to create things that's entirely different. And if you really like look at it, when it comes down to like the numbers, if a country has a drinking culture, it's really difficult. Like France, where I live,
try and break
it's so hard. Because we have to reprogram everyone versus Spain and Italy, who have like a drinking culture and they're open to embracing other things. So craft beer is flourishing. When you look at the numbers of Barcelona versus Paris, it's like it's embarrassing.
I think
it comes down to like cultural.
Do that as well.
Your mic's going awfully quiet, Craig.
Sorry?
Your mic's gone awfully quiet.
Oh, is it? I haven't got a mic. I'm just on my mobile, so.
All right.
Oh, hi. This was the.
We off
some fellas, somebody walked up the street. Craig, I'm afraid to tell you, somebody's just walked into your kitchen.
So,
I hope he's expected to be there.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question before we absolutely run out of time. I don't know if we have time. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't think so.
It's okay. So in the States, so obviously I follow a lot more
brown
American news.
Yeah,
And
Craig, shut up.
Sorry.
hit him, whoever that guy is.
Shut up
Give
about
him
racial politics, Craig.
That's what he's talking about, but he's just thinking red.
Yeah.
We don't like that round red.
Kentish Trump.
No. So in
Kentish
the
It's
Trump.
a
States,
bit grainy.
in America, we have,
Sorry.
most recent story was Revolution out of Chicago.
Yep.
They said we're recalling a bunch of beers. Obviously, the big one was Goose Island. They had their, like, we fucked up, we're recalling beers. And then there was a brewery this week from Texas who also said we're recalling, 100,000 beers. And general consensus amongst consumers is, like, we would prefer that you tell us that's happening and pull it back if it's not something you're happy with. Obviously, there are examples like Dogfish Head has one situation where they almost went out of business. Dogfish Head almost went out of business because they had to dump a bunch of beer because they didn't find it to be up to par to their brand. Obviously, I feel like I speak for, like, as beer geeks, we're like, yeah, don't bring us something if it's not the best you've ever had. But have any of you seen any examples of breweries in Europe who have said, like, we're not gonna, we put this beer out and we apologize, it's not good?
I think more tipping of beer happens than you realise. I just from conversation with people, I think more of it happens than you really.
But before it gets to bottling, before it gets to us, you mean, like, in the brewery?
I mean, post kind of. I don't think they will seldom admit to it.
Exactly. No, I mean, here, and I will not name names, but we have some breweries who have beer that they should be dumping, and they just try and, like, let's make it a cinnamon pale ale. Let's throw some of that on there. No one will know.
Yeah, just try and mask it or something.
Yeah,
Just to,
but because financially, and the example I gave about Dogfish Head is they have to do it for numbers. Like, it sucks, and it's still alcohol, and beer, if you can drink it, is still healthy.
but
Like, you can still drink it.
It'll probably cost them more in the long run, though, if they went along with that.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. What's the important? How important do you see the integrity of your brand? If you want to send shit out, and knowingly it's bad, how important do you see your brand as?
It's looking at your demographic. If they're people who drink lagers and they don't know any better, and they're like, "Oh, hops just taste like fucking rocks."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
I guess that's the thing. I mean, famously, if you guys have watched kind of Brewmasters, the series that Dogfish Head do, they dump an entire batch of, I think, 120 minute or worldwide stout. One of their big releases, their yearly releases, they ditch that, and they know they kind of, and they make a point of it. It's probably a bit of a TV stunt as much as anything. Might have just been coincidence, but that they were saying it's important that people kind of, they expect this to be a certain quality, and if we don't do that, then we're like shooting ourselves in the foot, really.
Yeah.
So I always think Brewdog are really guilty, well, in the past, primarily, of sending out shit beer, masquerading as something else. For a while, there was a bit of a thing with
Cough, and Overlord.
a lot of the thing. Well, no, I've not had it.
That's what I was thinking.
Sorry.
But a lot of the abstract beers, it were kind of like, so that was a beer that we kind of like made, and that didn't go quite according to plan. So you stick it in a barrel and you charge like 4 times more.
I love that idea, though. Come on, I love it. As a brewer, it's like, that's just funny. Like, this fucked up. I have a barrel. Let's put it in there. Let's call it wild fermented. And we
When I grew up at the brewery, up at Fraserburgh, they moved to Elland, and but they had a lot of the barrels up there, and they were like, "So what's that?" I think it said salted caramel popcorn, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that was something we tried. Didn't really work out, so we put it in that barrel." And I said, "Do you know that's like an attitude people have towards a lot of the kind of like releases that you do?" It's like, yeah, and then like about a year and a half later, what came out as one of the abstract beers? Salted caramel popcorn beer.
Stop.
So it's just
Gets my ass at all.
in some of it, but to their credit, they do say that they're testing them all the time. To taste them, is it something that is kind of like worth sending out? And they must have made that decision. That I mean, in the most cynical sense, I mean,
yeah. If they can salvage it, then that's fair enough.
If they think it's of a certain quality, I'm sure they'll sell it. But I mean, they're not going to purposely.
No, they're not just going to release
send out shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we may have that opinion that it's not quite.
This is just outrageously good. It's the first time I've had it, so.
It's just it's the standard Noah, isn't it?
Oh my!
It's amazing. It is.
But Craig, is it going to be ever as good as Bishops of Hell?
Seriously. Can I have a review, please? Can I have tasting notes? Can you explain it to me?
This one.
Yep.
It's just on the nose. You're getting the pecan nuts, and it's like a sweetness to it.
It's super sweet.
Oh,
it's like tiramisu.
Yeah, tiramisu. Yeah, it's that kind of.
You have me at tiramisu.
But I have to admit, I don't think Noah's as good as Yellow Belly.
What sorry was that?
It's
as good as Yellow Belly.
It's really, 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 really close to Yellow Belly. Is that?
Yeah.
Because that's Duggar's brewed. Is that one? So it's not quite. It's not quite the same. But Jeff wouldn't tell me. Jeff from Buxton wouldn't tell me what they did with Yellow Belly. Honestly, he was quite serious, and I was like, "So how did you get those flavors then? If you're not putting this and that and other in it?" I said, "No, not saying." It was really stony face.
The great thing is, I can't hear anything about Omnipollo without my headphones on, so I'm totally fine like this for a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean that's one of the things. To be honest,
like you can't miss what you don't know.
Yeah, that's
it's
very
kind
true.
Do you not think it's quite an interesting thing as sort of Beertubers maybe to think about? You know, for example, you know, like if you go to one of these breweries, you have beers from these guys that are just such a high standard, like in the early days, and then you go back to some of them later, and you expect to be like blown away. For example, like I remember trying Brewdog, for example, in 2010 when they opened up that bar in Aberdeen, and you're like, shit, these beers are being produced locally. What are they all about? And then you go and try some of the later ones, and it's interesting because maybe your palate's evolved a little bit, but you're just never quite in, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's
like what
you are speaking to the fucking choir right now.
No, I like that as a point. I mean, when something is once kind of really exciting, does it retain its kind of excitement, or do you become a little bit kind of like, as I was saying about Indie Man, I mean, do you become jaded by your experience and stuff because you become spoiled? So something that was once quite stimulating becomes a little bit forgettable, I guess.
Your palate's got a lot to answer for sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, you notice.
Destroyed.
I keep talking about Brewdog because it's a brewery that I keep going back. Like, it's interesting because I found it. 2016, I think, Neon Overlord aside, has actually been a pretty good year for Brewdog, to be honest. And then compare it to 2015, and the mash tag is always good, but then they have the other beers. They're all right, but they just don't quite hit the same note as previous things have. But you can do the same, for example, with Omnipollo, like these, the Anagram, the Noah, the Yellow Belly, and I've had Outside the Lines this week. I've had that one, and they're all really good. But I have to admit, I think with Omnipollo, I'm going to really struggle to find one that's better than Yellow Belly. And it's just that thing. You're thinking, you go into each of these beers wanting it to be better, and then you're kind of like, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But I want it to be better than the ones I've had before.
Yeah. I'm very happy with this, to be fair. So.
Yeah,
But can I say as well? I mean, that's what makes you a critic. Like that's what makes you a beer geek or someone who's pushing the craft. Because you can taste a beer, you can look at a beer probably, and be like, that beer is like balanced, it's on style. Like you can give a lot of objective notes pertaining to that. But when it comes to like saying this beer is exceptional. Like there's that. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That just comes with experience.
It's interesting to go into some of the I always like to say in my reviews about what the beer rating is. I mean, today I just filmed one from Brewery. It was that mead that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, it was this guy. Tried this guy, and this is Brewery. Brewery is done in collaboration with the Nectar from Mead. If you think about those two, I don't know too much about the Nectar, but then.
Yeah, they're immediately from America. Yeah, quite cool. Kind of like.
Yeah. No, I did the research for them, but I've not tried any of the other beers. But then you go to. I went on Rate Beer. This thing was rated at 41. It's like, what are the people on that are drinking this?
Yeah.
Because it's that beer.
They're cracked.
At the very least, that would be an 80, I would think.
Okay.
80 or an 85. This is supposed to be like it is rated in the mead category, but you go into rate beer and there's just some utter shite ratings. You go into something.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the rate beer things. It's a really kind of like a subjective thing. I mean, I was talking to a friend. I mean, I'm going to CBC next year, and I was talking to a friend about it today, and it's like, yeah, you can queue up for 45 minutes to get a thimble full of Vanilla Bean Dark Lord, or you can go to the stall next to it and get something equally amazing. And they say that they all gather, they're like around a table, and like he said, they all get around the table. One of them starts logging them into rate beer. They all lay out the laptops. One of them, they all go off and get the beer, and one of them is left responsible for the table and logging them into their accounts and stuff like that. It's a ridiculous situation. But one thing I want to say, I'm just been looking back at the comments and watching us right now. I just want to give a big shout out to the icon, the YouTube icon that is David Dowling, the Urban Viking, out there at the moment. David, how are you doing, matey?
Yeah.
All right.
He's out there. He's watching us at the
Sorely
moment.
missed.
Sorely missed.
Yeah.
Is he retired now?
The Urban Viking. What you up?
Retired from Beertubers.
All for Valhalla.
Going new to Valhalla from Australia.
But there you go,
He's
Dave.
not Lee Russell who announced his retirement.
Lee's. Well, exactly, yeah. But yeah, no.
Get back on it.
Yes. There you go, Dave. Pete, I mean, you're getting Scandinavian shout outs. You're getting multiple horns. You're getting shout outs to come back.
By
Dave.
the might of Odin.
Exactly. There you go, Dave. So yeah, come back, Dave. We love you.
Is he retired from actually making videos? So
on a hiatus until further notice, I'd like to think. I think that's a more productive way than having a big kind of like, oh, I'm going to leave it and stuff. It's a bit.
Because what the fuck is
I always think
what the fuck is
people who go,
Beertuber at the end of the day?
Yeah, who gives a fuck, really?
No.
I mean, all the people who kind of have these kind of retirement videos and stuff like that. It's all a bit self-congratulatory, isn't it? It's like I meant something, so you should care. So yeah, I always like those people who just kind of like, is it disappointing? Is it as disappointing as it is? You mean as our brethren disappear once in a while, like James and Daniel and Ryan. I mean, Ryan's a fantastic guy, and he's got other things to do in his life, and that's great. As long as he didn't make that big fucking thing about it, he can come back and have a bit of a chat and stuff. It's good. It's not that important. It's fun.
So who are your beer geek media favorites at the moment?
At the moment,
everyone.
Besides our contemporaries around the table at the moment.
Besides us, literally besides us. I follow
I don't
Jason Naughty is like one of my favorites. He's on the Insiders Roundtable often, and his writing is spot on, and I think he's a nerd also, which I appreciate. He's approachable, and that's probably one of my main favorites, of course, besides you.
Well, I've recently become obsessed with Greg's beer reviews, guys.
I fucking hate Greg's beer reviews.
You can't say
I fucking hate Greg's beer
It's
reviews.
not got a bottle date on,
I
guys.
like it. I think he's all right.
I fucking hate Greg's beer.
I know
Greg,
you-
are you trying to buy me
It's
beer?
nighttime. He's like the Bob Ross of beer reviews.
No, he's massively insincere. I really
I'm
don't
about-
like it.
I'm gonna agree with you, Rob, on that one though. He's shallow.
Yeah.
I've tried to connect with him multiple times and I get like a non-response, which like, whatever.
Well, thanks. Cheers.
Yeah, because you need a GoFundMe account to be on his level.
I've never had any encounters with Greg. Actually, I've never really invited me to join that Facebook group that he's in and said, "Oh, share your beer videos in here and stuff." And
I've only just started watching his beer reviews, and I enjoyed his Brooklyn Beer Week.
I've been watching him for probably about 3 or 4 years, to be honest.
I mean, I tend to just watch who kind of shows up in my thing. I mean, I discover a few new people all the time. Like everyone that's here, I keep an eye on your things, and if there's a beer, I'm like, oh, I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about that. Then I watch that one.
Yeah.
There's the two guys I was with, Casey and Eric in Japan. I watched their stuff because I'm just really interested in Japanese beer. And
Wait, are there Japanese YouTube beer reviews that I am not watching?
Right, I'll send you the link. Sotogami Akihabara.
I don't know what you said.
I'll send you the link. Don't worry.
Oh, can I just show you guys this beer? Can I show you this? And I want you to all be just so excited because this is. Can you read what this says?
I had that recently.
I've not had it.
Is
I
it
need to get more
good?
Tiny Rebel stuff.
It's okay.
I mean, for me, this is one of those labels where this would not work in America.
No.
In and around.
No,
the map.
definitely
Like
not.
candy where like you'd have all the feminists hitting you in the face in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
not
they thought,
Bible
like-
Belt beer.
Tiny Rebel, yeah.
I didn't even really realise it was spunk on it. All right.
I didn't I didn't even think it was.
No, I didn't even know that was spunk until you said that, James.
Great observation, James.
I didn't honestly. I didn't even think about that.
I just thought it was mouth-watering beer saliva.
Yeah,
I just thought it was
honestly, I didn't actually. I didn't think
in and around the mouth.
Yeah.
I started talking about it.
How do you put it like that?
I'm gonna open that.
Now
This
you
is
put it like that. It's gonna be the most. It's gonna be the most disappointing thing ever. You know, it's gonna be like some
so good.
insipid blonde beer or something.
I mean, somebody else who actually is really good. I mean, I really love. I've discovered 2 like heavy metal beer reviewers, and obviously everyone knows Paul from. That guy is just. I don't know what his mother fed him when he was young, but that guy's mental. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
But there's another guy
Paul has
Chicken soup.
terrible tasting music. Though, fucking hell.
from Canada called Chris Peters, and he calls his reviews the Alcoholocaust.
Oh, he's so funny. The amount
He's
of
brilliant. I love
trolling
him
he
as well.
gets on his videos is monumental.
Yeah, no, it's really funny because it just opens with that. He's got this like Transylvania cast.
Because the great thing about Chris Peters is he reviews beers from your country, so it's sign me up.
Yeah, I really like him. I just like it. He's like, welcome to the Alcoholocaust. It's just like, it's so funny. But no, he on the serious side, he is actually really good at the reviews as well. I really
Yeah,
enjoy
he
his
is. He does
videos.
some really good reviews.
What about Russia? Has anybody seen anything from Russia?
Harry's group, there's a guy called Pavel who keeps commenting about Russian beer.
Yeah,
He reviews in Russian and there's no subtitles, so
Yep.
you can't really.
But he
I
has a
would
lot
love
of views.
to hear- Yeah, no, that's one of the things. I've had a lot of people from Germany and Sweden say, could you review in Swedish and German? And I'm like, I could. But it removes the kind of universality of it, if that's even a word.
Maybe.
Universal thing that you have. And Casey and Erica was talking about in Japan, they have that as well. They review beers twice. You know, they do an English video and they do a Japanese one because the Japanese are not so good at English as we are, or as good at English as we are in Europe.
There's an Austrian beer reviewer called Konrad Seidel who does a beer. He does the same beer, but he does a review in English and then one in German.
Is that an older guy? Is he about 50 or something like that?
Yeah, like bald with a steampunk outfit. Really insightful.
I've seen him years ago. Actually, I saw him ages ago, and I need to search him again because his English reviews were actually pretty good, but I could never remember his name.
I think
Can you post these in the chat? I need the Japanese one. I need this like dual guy. I need I want all of these people.
I think he calls it.
I'm looking for a Greek one as well. I get a lot of stories from Greece, which is weird, and I don't have anyone to bounce the. Like, I get articles from Greece, and I need a person that is like a native Greek beer nerd. Like, it's not just translating the article. They can say like this makes sense or no, or we care about it.
I know a Greek guy who's like the most chill guy you're ever going to meet, and he appreciates beer, but he's not such a beer geek.
All right, just someone that can say like, yes, this is happening or no.
Just a comment from one of our watchers, once again, the iconic David Dowling, Juvar. He says, Keith's beer reviews are like Valium and safety combined in a warm bubble.
I heard, is that Keith? Dario posted something about, is that
he died?
Keith Lilly died?
Yeah, he did. No, he did die. He had a bit of a bad time. That was really.
He had like 7 heart attacks in a week or something.
He's still alive. Unbelievably, he's still alive. Yeah.
Is he? He's actually still alive.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as kind of like other people, I mean, I besides my wonderful peers, I like DJ. I think DJ's ace. I'd love to get DJ on here one time. He's just such a wonderful, fantastic character. I love him. DJ Beer. I love it. He's beer harding ass. And I like Johnny from Shut Up. I like Johnny from Crafty Beer Reviews. I like.
There's no birthday on this, guys.
And I think I like Joe over in California. I think he's really good. I like his. Actually, I like the.
Wait, who?
He's kind of his. What's it? The guy who does all the kind of like vintage arcade kind of reviews.
Oh, I know the one you mean. The guy that's got the Scagliarella or something. His name is Joe Scagliarella.
Yeah. Goes beer and video review, game reviews.
Some guy who does behind the bar.
I can't remember. Maybe. I mean, but yeah, he's got an incredible garage full of like vintage kind of machines and stuff like that. He's really good. He's good. I mean, but then he gets all the fucking awesome stuff that no one can ever get. So
yeah.
I mean,
there's the guy from
yeah, obviously Chris is the head honcho. He's the grand poobah of this whole thing, isn't he? Really. I mean, the great thing about Chris these days, he's not kind of like searching out the rarest of stuff. It's like I think Darwin's really good at what he does, but
Darwin's great.
But at the same time, I think he's a little bit too uber geek in a lot of ways. I mean, and I don't always appreciate this. The whole kind of like how he and I know it's just a tactic to try and get views, but it's like the best beer from best fucking IPA I've had in the last 12 days or something like that. There's always like a sub kind of heading to it and stuff.
New Brunswick IPA.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like how relevant it is to the kind of the broader world. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think
where's
he does
he based out of? Do you know?
He's New York.
Yeah. Because Matt Massive Beer Reviews is like my East Coast.
Oh yeah, I think he's good. It's a nice. I think his podcast is pretty good. But I mean, for me, I do like a lot of podcasts. I think Four Brewers, which Nitch has been on, I think they're great.
They're cute.
They're really good. I'd love to be able to do that, and I nearly went to a friend suggest to do that.
Go
Then I
on
listened to it again, and I think they've got a certain pattern. They've got a little bit of something going on. Those guys.
There's not. One of the things I've noticed, there's not so many beer reviews from Australia and New Zealand actually.
Well,
Swill and Grog.
Miss Parker out there, but I mean,
Swill and Grog.
Adam,
Ale at a time.
in New Zealand, Adam.
Yeah, I've tried. I'm encouraging him to do so. He could be the king of it all. But I mean,
He would be out there.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling him. But we'll get something sooner. We'll get something sooner or later.
Can we just make sure all of these recommendations are posted somewhere so that I can see all of them, because I have no memory and I would like to make sure I understand everything later.
Absolutely. Yeah, but for brewers, Beer O'Clock Show. It's a very UK centric kind of podcast, which is fantastic.
Beer O'Clock Show. This curmudgeon-y old.
No, he's not. I was just winding him up. I've been on the Beer O'Clock Show.
Trying to a little bit. I'm going to be honest, though, when I listen to it, I understand, and it's not about the accent. It's just the references.
Yeah.
There's so many locations and beer styles and beer names. And I'm like, I get like 3/4 of what's going on. But there's like, it's so specific to the area that I feel like I'm being educated. It's like listening to Russian history.
But that's that's the thing. I mean, it's like, do you want a window into a world, or do you
totally.
or do you want something that kind of?
I don't know what's happening, but I feel like I'm learning the language.
Because personally, I'd like something that I can have some kind of reference to.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I mean, I guess that's why Beer Geek Nation became quite a popular one, because it was at a certain point where we're like, everybody knows about Hop Slam and stuff like that, and that's an important one. But everything's become such a saturated market. Then, what's important anymore? And I think someone like Chris, who is the king of it all, he's not chasing those beers, as I said, and so the beers that he's getting are probably not the most important ones. And if you look at something like Darwin's, probably a little bit more located for the kind of like the hot IPAs and all this business. But who's the authoritative voice? I mean, I always loved Mark Starr on the Hoppery. He was my guy. And Zach Avery, but I mean, that's going back now. But so it's kind of the relevance. Where's relevance versus kind of like?
But do you guys listen to the Beerists? Have you, Rob?
Beerists.
No.
I can't believe you guys haven't listened to these fuckers. They've been going on for a while.
I used to be on the thing. I used to be a big fan of the Sunday Session and stuff like that. But their shows are far too long.
There's so many though now.
From out of California.
Listen.
I tell you, I really enjoy listening to Chad, the albino rhino, because the Canadian craft beer scene seems so interesting to me, because there's like a brewery opening up in every little nook and cranny of Canada. And they always seem to have the same, like, we've got a pale ale, we've got an IPA, we've got a red ale.
No, he's an interesting fella as well.
Plus, I'm 1/4 albino myself, so brothers represent all of that stuff. Well, I really enjoy. I just enjoyed the way he talks on his videos, and how he interacts with comments. From my experience, anyway.
I think he's pretty blind.
Yeah, he is. So he's probably just being nice and polite to me, but I've got to help my fellow brethren.
No, it's a great one.
Potential brethren.
Periodically, you'd be on like chats like this with Chad, and you just go like this. What's he doing?
Just tell me about the craft beer news in that one region of Canada, like he does in most.
I guess that's
what about women?
For me, it's just for me, with like Chad, that scene is completely alien to me. I've got no way into it. I mean, we're like with America, we get a window into that world once in a while, but I think
it's kind of not relevant.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of like them
Canada just
listening
seems
to like
so insane
something
with all their
specifically
regulations
about the UK that they'll never
Yeah.
really see any of it.
Again.
So it's gonna.
Yeah, but you
All
have
the
already
stuff
said
that-
that it's influencing. It influences the rest of the world. North America is North America. It's not just America. It's not the United States of America that influences the
Canada,
beer
yeah.
scene. It's Canada as well. It's that whole fucking piece up there.
No, it's not.
To be fair, you just
No, really? You're going to say
It's
no.
not.
Wait,
No, I don't think it is.
mic drop.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, I don't think it is.
Are you
I think it's
serious?
pocket. I think it's pockets of America. What?
But it's the same.
Influence.
British
'Cause,
Columbia.
like-
Like, you know what's closer to Yakima? British Columbia.
No, but in a couple of years ago, the big thrust was upon kind of like California. It's San Diego. That was where the interest lied. But now it's the Northeast. It's Boston. It's New England. It's stuff like that. That's where the focus now points, because that's where the America loves IPA. IPA defines the craft beer movement, whether we like it or not. It just does. I mean, it just does. And it's the most prevalent kind of a style amongst the kind of
That's what
broader
people are
craft beer
drinking.
movement.
What people are drinking.
Yeah, every craft brewer does an IPA.
Innovation, and that's where the spotlight is shone. And at the moment, it's the northeast of America. So, and I don't think I've got some good stuff in Canada, but
Yeah, well,
it's never seen as like.
Yeah, I'd free cans.
It doesn't seem important enough. I mean, it just doesn't.
You can only drink so many malts and lagers.
Yeah,
I mean, WCL, Flying Monkey's Chocolate Manifesto, that is just stupidly good. But I mean,
I've got a friend who lives in Ontario. He brought me three big tall boy cans over. So one was from British Columbia, and I think there's one from a couple from Ontario. And they're okay.
But why is that the case? So why does the spotlight get shone on those specific parts of the US? I mean, for me, that's when
I don't know
the innovation. Exactly. Is it to do with population? Is it to do with
you've got low population.
people who are available? If you got significant major cities that people who've got quite a prominent voice on social media and stuff like that they can say this is important. Because you don't know something's good until someone says it's good.
Yeah.
It could go down to
I've told him to go
like,
to,
wherever you go, it's like, they have, it's all to do with what resources are available and everything.
Yeah.
So it might just be that, for example, I learned about this region the other day, Appalachia. Would you have heard of that niche, Appalachia?
No.
In America.
Appalachia, the Appalachian
Yeah,
area.
Appalachia, I pronounced it wrong then, but they're talking about this area, and this guy is a big figure in the Appalachian beer movement and all of this, and just it's stuff like that. They're talking about all these areas, so I mean, it could just be that there's good water there because you need certain water to brew. The availability of bringing resources in, it could just be that it's a geographical thing. Because I know in Scotland, at least with whiskey, Spain became popular because you had all the flat fields you could.
Well, there you go. Is it romanticism? I mean, it's like Hill Farmstead. I mean, they're one of the most sought after breweries in the world. It's because it literally is the farmstead of the Hill family. I mean, it's their home. It's remote. It's kind of there's a romantic quality to it.
Yeah,
you can't get it.
It's going to be good.
Exactly.
But also the beers are fantastic. So.
But then it was the whole kind of like how appealing stuff like West Flatiron was. I mean, because you couldn't get it. It's the allure of the kind of the forbidden in a way. I mean, it's what you can't get is what is kind of like enticing you towards something.
Can I draw a line between fashion? Will this make sense to you?
Go for it, yeah.
If I were to say like Louis, I know it's gonna be weird. If you have someone like Louis Vuitton, whatever, like a big designer, and they created a brand based off of the idea of exclusivity. Like, I will only make 10 of these, and that's all that will be made, and people will fight over them to the death. Great idea. It worked really well. At the same time, you have producers who are making things because they literally only have a limited amount of something. And so you have like a big brand over here who's making handbags that are designer, and that's what they do. And they do that constantly because they do it like exclusive. Like they could, like Louis Vuitton could be making enough handbags for everybody, but they make a limited amount of each one, versus like a designer who can only literally make this bag 15 times because they're doing it by hand. And I think that's where you get that appeal in the maker movement or the craft movement. It's knowing honestly that these people can't do anything. Bag. It is a craft bag. It's a fucking handmade goddamn bag. It's got blood, sweat, and tears in it. It's got time that was invested in it, and I want to pay for that time. And that's the difference.
Yeah, I think that's whatever you're into as well. You know, if it's beer or handbags or whatever.
For when I'm, as much as I don't want to quote
reasons for making that decision, I guess.
Well, no. As much as I don't want to quote Greg Cook, he from Stone Brewing, co-founder and owner of Stone Brewing, CEO or whatever he is at this point. He was here in Paris doing the release of their beer here. I put it on my blog somewhere. I did an audio recording, and someone asked him to define craft. And I have never seen a more calm person approach that, like define craft. And he was so ready for it. Yeah. I panic every time someone asks me that question. And his answer was just like so clean and simple. He was like, craft is about passion and art and soul. And that is something that cannot be replicated because it is art and soul, and it's unique. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can't argue against that, though, either.
No.
You can't replicate soul.
No. I guess that's the point. See, I was all primed. I was all
write a
primed
piece
for
about
response
Frankenstein
and stuff,
IPA.
But define craft is one thing, but define craft beer is another thing. I think craft beer means nothing, but then craft means a lot. Do you know what I mean? Craft beer means nothing. Craft beer is a marketing term, and that's all it is. But craft, I guess, is something different.
Yeah, a skill.
It's like it's real ale. It's craft beer. It's fucking bullshit. It's all nonsense. It's a marketing term appropriated by various people for their own means to an end, and it doesn't really mean anything apart from what it means to that person who's using it in a lot of ways.
So now we say good beer, right? We don't say craft beer.
I don't know. I say craft.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel retarded when I say craft beer now.
Yeah, I say craft beer. I feel dirty. I feel dirty periodically.
This is definitely craft.
Do you though?
This is craft.
Yeah, but it's good. No. It's craft. It's craft. Fine, but it's also good. I mean, above all of that, it's good.
Who defines good?
Like what we like.
Us. Good.
I like it. It's good beer. It's beer that makes me feel okay. It's beer that makes me feel good. Like I feel good. You know, like I have that feeling.
Yeah. As I was saying about anagram the other night, it makes me smile. Yeah. That's the good shit.
Yeah. It's crafted to make you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. You can use both of them.
Just say
in the all the hashtags.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's always been my kind of like my kind of interest in the whole broader thing. Is I think you've I don't think everybody's got the capacity to kind of enjoy this kind of thing, and that's fine. I don't think it's an exclusive thing. I think it can be seen as exclusive, but I think everybody's welcome to the party. I just don't think everybody has that capacity to be interested in flavors. I mean, one thing watching a video Nicole did a couple of weeks back, and it was you trying to define who kind of your viewers are. I mean, you didn't want to say beer geek. It was that kind of like thing, and that's really it is really hard to define. But I think it is, and I think collectively, I think you've got a group of people around around this virtual table. It's like it's an interest in and a capacity to enjoy flavors. Whether it's food or it might be whiskey. See, I can't drink whiskey, but I quite like the smell of it. I mean, but it's having that capacity to kind of like potentially enjoy things like that and look a bit further. It might be music, it might be film, it might be whatever. But it's having the capacity to look beyond the boring shite that is like handed to you every day.
The basic. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's those people, and I don't know how you define them, but whether, I mean, if it's somebody who will sit through kind of like 6 hours of Fellini films, they're probably going to enjoy a really good bottle of wine or a really good bottle of beer or a fantastic meal or something like that, because they've got there's something within them that will look further than what's just handed to them on a plate.
Personally, craft. I don't think that word actually matters too much.
No.
Personally, it's more of a, if you like it and enjoy it, then it doesn't matter what it is. That's just me. Craft.
I want to agree. Wait, can I just say, I want to interject for 1 minute, and I love that, and I want to agree with that, but then I have people who are like, yeah, but I just love frozen pizzas and commercial beer. Like, don't judge me. Like, I respect you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that if you experienced these other flavors, you may be inclined to not have that.
Yeah, make your own pizza and get some craft beer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
Can we just say like flavor expats? Or like taste craft expats? I don't know.
I think
no, but
people
Nicole, I want you to expand on what you were just saying. I mean, if some people, it's like, yeah, okay, I mean, yeah, you can enjoy kind of like shit, but but
there's something you can't.
There's better shit out there.
Everybody knows this. Okay, so one of my recent videos, I went to the countryside in France, and I did wine picking, which was eye-opening on many levels because I was an immigrant. I got prejudiced against, like, as an immigrant, like, spoken about with, like, in front of me as I was like, hi, I can understand you, you know. Yeah, and lived in this community of people who consider themselves the elite. Like, these are families of winemakers. I had one man, I loved this, who was talking about how his son will soon be taking over the winery, which is great. His son has so much passion for making wine, which is interesting because he hated wine. Because he said, for the last 40 years of my life, I have despised it. Well, yeah, exactly. He's like, great, my son. No, but he's like, my father forced me to make wine and said I have to be part of this industry, and I hated it. And I'm glad now that I'm retiring.
I'm definitely going to buy some of that.
Yeah, right. But that's his thing, is he said the craft movement is happening even here, like within our wine. But when I try to explain to people, like the way this wine is made in France, we call it, which it means craft. Like, there's no regulation. When I say natural wine, it's not really organic. It's not really regulated in any way. It just means that it was wine that was made by people who kind of give a fuck.
Yeah, basically,
and that's the only way to define it.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. I'm going to be honest, delicious.
And
since I've had that wine, since I spent so much time working with it, now if you give me any other wine, like, I can immediately see it, like smell it, and I taste it, and I don't want it. And it's not because I don't want to drink the wine.
It's not your thing.
I just know immediately that I don't like the taste of this. I'd rather not have that. So
it's whatever you're in. It's what your taste buds. It's whatever you're into.
Well, natural wine I've had is quite sour. It's quite lambic-esque in a lot of ways.
Wow, really?
I mean, I don't know if it's just
for me.
I don't know if that's because a lot of it's Italian. I don't know if that's the whole thing. I don't know enough about it. My mate will spend 45 quid on a bottle of wine I mean, he likes his wine, but for natural wines he'll spend a lot of money.
Yeah, but the thing is, in this day and age,
Worth it.
£45 on a bottle of wine is acceptable. Whereas if you're getting a real decent craft beer that's £10-15, people are like, "How much for a beer?"
Yeah, true.
No, I don't know. Well, yes and no. I mean, I think most people will get a little bit kind of like twitchy when you're buying a bottle of wine that's over a tenner.
Well, but yeah,
Especially
but
in the
more
UK.
acceptable. I
Special
think it's more
occasions.
acceptable generally than beer. If you got a bottle of beer that's, as I said, £10 for one bottle of beer, they're like, it's only beer, but then they don't get.
Hang on, Craig. It's only beer? What?
No, but not to me.
Okay, wait. Well, tell me right now, starting with Rob.
Yes.
When you go, this is a thought experiment.
Okay.
So let's say you go into a bar.
Yes.
Said bar has, as a beer geek, you walk in and you think, I will have a beer on draft. I'm assuming you think like me. And obviously, so there are no beers on draft that are like, you don't want those. Yeah. Those are all bad. It's like Stella and bad things. I don't know, whatever the bad ones are. And you're like, I'll have nothing of that. They have no bottle list other than Desperados or whatever your shit. Smirnoff Ice. I have no idea what the kids are into.
I used to love it.
I don't know, whatever it is that they're into these days. So there's that.
I should do a review of Desperados. I used to love it. I used to fucking love that shit.
You wait until this week. Desperados Gold. I can't explain it to you, but it's happening. Okay, so you're at the bar and then you have this. So there's no options. There's just no options. What do you pick? What do you go for? Like the whiskey selection is like clearly Diageo. Like it's all bad. It's just all bad. So what do you do? With friends?
Besides walking out?
No, you're here.
I've got to say,
you're having a good time.
I'd probably drink gin.
Is any gin? You would just say what, gin?
Well, it depends what gin they've got. I mean, I've got a
exactly. Let's just say they have nothing you want.
I mean, they've got Gordon's and that's it.
Probably. Yeah. Okay.
Bombay Sapphire.
Gin and soda. Are you a tonic person? Fuck it, Bombay Sapphire.
I don't usually get to this point, really. I usually either buy good beer or go somewhere else.
But but you're here, like you have no choice.
I've got no choice. Yeah, I said yeah. Probably,
if you're with other people.
I'd love to enjoy whiskey, but I like the smell, but the taste is horrendous most of the time. Especially in that kind of place, it would be cheap shite.
Bourbon's okay.
Yeah.
But what's decent bourbon? I mean,
all right.
Mix in some Four Roses or some Evan Williams.
Come on, tell me.
I'm happy
exactly.
With
in that kind of place, in Nicole's hellish kind of like shy bar, it's some comfort in Jack Daniels, isn't it? So, what do you cover up the horrendous drinking experience with like fizzy drinks?
Okay, fine. I just wanted to know. This happens to me often. I was looking for some.
I'd just like to say that my first experience with Italian craft beer has been a minor success.
Oh.
Wait, what?
This is.
I'll be a second, guys. Be back just in a minute.
Okay, no problem. This is Target 2000's American Ale, clocking in at 4.9%. And it's actually really damn nice.
I'm on this now. Bit of a come down from
the Omnipollo.
Yeah.
Wait, where did you get that?
He went over the road again.
Are you fucking serious?
What, me? No, this was already in the apartment. My girlfriend had recently been to Rome as part of university, and she bought me 2 craft beers, and then she bought me like a 600 milliliter bottle of Peroni. And she was like, "Well, if you don't like the Peroni, I'll happily drink it." So it's like, oh, so you were drinking Peroni while you were in Italy.
You have the Peroni.
Yeah. So she can have it.
Nick.
Well, all right, next.
In your theoretical hellish bar, what would you have drunk? I don't agree with cocktails.
Oh, I had this happen.
For starters. I don't agree with cocktails.
We're going to ask everyone.
If you're gonna drink alcohol,
There's
you
no
should
cocktails
taste
in the hellish
alcohol.
bar.
I don't agree with people who mask bad, unpleasant alcohol with soft drinks and stuff.
There's no way out of it. That's the thing. And in the hellish bar that I've created, even if you order a cocktail, it will be the most unappealing.
Bar.
It's the most unappealing thing you'll ever experience. You know it's dirty. You know that ice machine has all the mold. You know that mint, that they threw on top of it is like been touched by, like, he rubbed his hand on his balls and then picked the mint. God knows, like, even before that, where it's been.
Slushy machine making mojitos.
You have no idea. You have no idea. The glassware is like so bad. It's all so bad. The soda is probably expired.
Yeah.
Like we're talking that bad.
Comes in a big bag of powder.
Yeah. So you know what I do? And this literally happened earlier tonight. I witnessed another gentleman who no, although I would call that
Is
out.
this Gerard Dupier's bar, by the way?
No, it's no. Come on, it's
the
just
guy
a
who
hellish
pisses
nightmare.
himself on an airplane.
So you're in a place in France, and what you order when there's nothing to order is pastis, Ricard. It's Ricard or pastis. It's a little cousin of absinthe, actually. It tastes like licorice, which sounds so unappealing. But give it 2 or 3 tries and you'll be good. It's super cheap as well. It's like 1 or 2 euros, the cheapest thing you can get. Super consistent, can't die. It's because it's like a Fernet Branca.
That's also the plus point.
You can't die. That's reassuring.
No,
you'll survive this experience.
It's like a liquor. It's a strong liquor, so it's like it's not something that's time sensitive. It's there. They all have it. You can't. It's a no fail kind of thing. And when you order it, and again, it's super cheap, so also don't care. It's served in this. It looks kind of milky colored. It serves in a glass, milky colored. They give you water with it as well, and then you put the water in it and kind of dilute it, and it tastes like light, watery, cold anise tea, like licorice tea. That's kind of what it tastes like.
Sounds horrendous.
That sounds horrendous. Yeah, I think
and
I'd have to go for a
what usually
dirty,
happens?
stale gin and tonic.
You just
I think what usually happens in the UK is you go, "Oh, Guinness."
Yeah, Guinness.
and I would say,
And that's-
honestly, if there's
Guinness
Guinness,
is
I would go
fucking
Guinness.
horrendous.
But I would
Guinness
always
is
go
fucking
Guinness.
horrendous.
Really, I would always
Yeah.
go Guinness.
Guinness barely tastes like beer. Doesn't
No,
taste
it's
like a
terrible.
stout, and that's
Come
for sure.
on.
Oh, it's not. No. I've got this big issue. People who
No,
my
Guinness
mate
is a
Andreas
safe bet for me.
travels all around the world, but
Get on the box.
I fucking hate Guinness. It doesn't taste like beer, and it certainly doesn't taste like stout at all.
Well, the great thing about Guinness
It's
is you don't
fucking
need to
awful.
eat anything before you drink it. You get
Oh.
like this
Oh, that's a load of bullshit as well.
nutrient meal
No, that's a load of
It is a
bullshit.
meal.
Nondescript
But yeah,
food in a bin.
Yeah.
sorry, it's for
It's just
for
not very
porters.
nice. I don't like it.
People who just carry stuff.
So what would you drink then, Peter, if you went into a bar?
The hellish nightmare.
Welcome to the hellish nightmare bar.
So if we were to go to Nich's hellish bar in France,
Well,
Paris is a
you have
lovely
nothing
place.
you want.
But you must stay.
Welcome to the discotheque of hell.
I don't know. The options sound very slim, so I'd probably go for a very stale and not too very fresh gin and tonic.
Okay, you go tonic.
I'd go for a red wine, Rioja or something, if there's anything like that going on.
You know the red wine is coming from a box, right? It's coming from a cubie. I mean, that's fine. I'm not judging you.
Is it coming from like some disappointing optics on the wall as well? Or like a disappointing
yeah, maybe. It's like a box that's in a door behind the bar. And they're like, look, it's clearly a box, sir.
No, I love that. They're not even hiding how shy.
No, they're like so proud.
It's literally a box on the wall.
That's fine.
They're so arrogant.
With a very crude tap attached.
That'll
to
be
it.
€5, please.
It's just a plastic pipe drooping down.
Menu, so I've just looked at the beer menu, so that's quite acceptable.
Oh, what about syrups? Do you guys do syrups in your beer?
No,
I've not done a syrup in my beer.
What, as in like kind of a Berliner Weiss, maybe?
No, in France it's really common. Like people will come into the bar and they'll be like, "I will have a beer with strawberry."
No, I don't. You'd be kicked out.
No.
Or
It's
Monaco,
this-
like
it's
a beer
this rubbish
with soda and cherry juice. No.
There's a little bit of that in the UK, I guess. There's, I mean,
Oh,
you can have a bit of, you can have shandy, and you can have a
shandy.
maybe a diesel. Hey, Craig, I'm looking at you. Oh, so Peter, I thought this would be somebody who might be familiar with the terminology.
No, say that again. Sorry.
Diesel,
Right.
blackcurrant, and
Wait, what's a
cider
diesel?
and blackcurrant. Yeah,
I think we called that
that sounds
snake
good.
bite.
No, snake bites lager and
Lager.
lager and
Snake bite is like everything.
Snake bite and black, we used to call that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But snake bites lager and cider.
In the States as well, it also means like a
With
shot.
black-
It's a
with
beer and a
black-
shot of tequila.
Yeah, it was with blackcurrant. They used
Well,
to sell
a
it.
beer and a shot,
cocktails,
that's
yeah.
different, isn't it? I mean,
Snake bite.
got a Boilermaker, or you want a pickleback?
Yeah.
I've had a pickleback in my time. I quite enjoyed that.
Sure.
Turbo Shandy
Yeah.
is another one as well.
Turbo Shandy. I never thought. See, gonna have to hand this chat back over to Harry in 2 weeks' time, and with the noise that the words Turbo Shandy have been uttered in his absence.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm going back about 20 years, so I kind of like. Yeah. WKD and a Stella. Half and half.
See, for me, it was
before you went out.
Castaway and a K7. See, K cider. Harry would have loved a bit of K cider.
As a shame.
That was a blast away.
I'm going to say my drink used to be Stella Artois. Because in some of the ratchet pubs and clubs that I used to go to.
It's got so many nice chemicals in it, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it gets you through that awkward Wigan evening perfectly. And just Google Wigan and you'll know exactly why I needed Stella Artois, a £1 a bottle in nightclubs.
Oh, are you on this now?
No.
Are you on this?
I'm like a Pokemon. I've evolved.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm like a
Very
Pokemon.
strange reference, but I have evolved from.
Oh my god.
No, but
That's
last
great. I like
time
that.
he was on Budweiser.
Come on, I will.
Yeah. Well, I just
You're
put that down to
Budweiser.
peer pressure, Craig. It was just I had no
Yeah,
beer.
I'm sorry, mate. Yeah,
I had no beer. I had very pushy co-hosts, and that's why I had to resort to Budweiser, which was fucking awful.
It was a good photo, though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, good photo.
There's so many things. Beer runs the world. I mean, okay, let's talk about some shit right now. Do you know that like AB InBev funded both all three U.S. presidential debates? Besides that, I mean, the first autonomous truck. Hello, that just happened today.
So how will craft beer geeks vote?
I think that like your beer preference goes really low on your.
Political preference.
Am I a woman? Am I somehow sexually affiliated with a group? Am I somehow racially affiliated with a group? Do I actually care about my country? Do I care about the world? Like there are so many things. that go into the U.S. presidential debates, like beer is super low. But I will say Donald Trump does not drink alcohol, and so he's not getting my vote. I'm not. I don't. I'm totally abstaining.
I just think it's a really shit choice, to be fair.
You're doomed either way.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Shit or shitter. So.
And I think that's the thing, is that it's finally getting put into perspective. I mean, it's not even largely into perspective, the fact that we have two ruling parties. We do not have a democracy. We have two parties to choose from. So
democracy, my ass.
Exactly. Whatever.
Topical.
So you're not going to
politics.
vote for that crazy guy who's what's he called?
Donald Trump.
No, what's he fucking called?
The guy with the tiger?
No, what's he called? So there's the green woman. Can't remember her name. The libertarian guy.
No, none of them. No.
He's nuts.
All right.
They're all shit
Not the two we got in the front running then.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just say, I had never heard this quote. Stop me if you've heard it. A friend of mine said that when America sneezes, the world catches cold.
Oh, that's deep.
And I had never heard that because she was like, well, of course we're all watching the presidential debates in the United States of America. And I thought, wow, I mean, aren't we fancy? And she was like, it affects all of us.
It's the only comedy that was on.
Calm down.
The butterfly effect, isn't it? Yeah.
Watching debates with my prosciutto.
Okay, the debates are like, they're so entertaining. It's like Thunderdome.
Comedy Central.
It's a reality show.
Yeah.
Comedy
It's ridiculous. I absorb it in kind of like clips on Facebook and a bit of John Oliver. It's my kind of interaction with it.
I love John Oliver.
But if,
John
on this
the
point,
traitor.
on this point, if we don't say anything else about it, and two of you, actually, Craig can see this, no one else potentially can. But you can probably find it on YouTube. Maybe there's a fantastic filmmaker called Adam Curtis. And he recently released a film called, it's about 2.5 hours long, but it's a bit intense, but it's fantastic, called Hypernormalization. And it's
Hypernormalization.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's a load of Adam Curtis stuff out there on YouTube, and he's amazing. It's all found footage. It's kind of commentary. And the most recent one is essentially, it says the subject matter is how we got to where we are now.
Oh wait,
so it's kind of like.
Wait, no, what?
What?
What's it called?
Hypernormalization.
Nah. You just do we have like somewhere that all this shit is being written? Like, do we have a fucking secretariat?
I'll post a link in the thing below.
Please, thank you. Thanks.
Come on, it's
just
type in Adam Curtis. It's quite
this whole chat this whole time.
I love James's like hold sign. It's so real.
Well,
he's actually gone to bed.
I would have, but he's like paused it. Because yeah. Yeah, doesn't even have any more. Greg is arguing with his husband. Oh, what the fuck? James, I was just commenting on your little sign.
Oh, my lion thing, yeah.
Yeah, like what is this history? Where does the Moscow thing come from? What the fuck is that about?
Moscow thing?
Because your stuff is actually like Moscow radio something.
Oh, that was the old channel name.
Yeah, why?
Changed on here. Oh, that was when I went to NASA camp. My team that I was in was Goddard. And, used used to sneak onto the intercom things and like make fun of the Russian space program and stuff because we were nerds, you know.
Whoa! All right, dig. Cool.
Yeah.
Way to be a rebel.
Used to put on the fake Russian accents and stuff like that. So that was where Goddard Radio Moscow came from. The original. That's where the Goddard Radio Moscow thing came from.
No, go back to the fake Russian accent bit. Can't wait.
Fake Russian accent. I can talk like fake Russian accent if you like. It's no problem.
A Scottish guy doing a fake Russian accent.
Yeah, we can speak as a German accent also if you prefer that, but that's no problem. I use the French accent was a little lady or something. We have a very good accent in Scotland for mimicking other accents.
Oh my god, that's great. Sold.
Yeah.
I can't even do that. Wow. Bravo. Well, I'll be using you for World Beer News then. For like all the accents.
As long as they sound a little bit Scottish at the same time.
Yeah, World Beer News. Now we go to James in Moscow. James.
Whatever you want, you can't hide that Scottish accent. Don't try.
Please, can we do this?
It's like me, I'm telling you. I mean, with a strong Yorkshire accent, any European accent sounds horrendous. Especially if you try to speak Spanish or Italian, it just don't work.
It's really odd because when I speak German to people, they're always like, "Are you English? No. Are you Dutch? No. I'm sorry. And where are you from?" They just like can't. They just don't comprehend this German accent. So they say I can copy theirs well, but I can't do their accents. Speaking their language for some reason.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't hide that accent.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Oh, well, it's all good.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure it really shines through in Japanese.
Oh yeah, arigatou gozaimasu.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe it's actually more covered in that one.
Yeah, Japanese is a little bit. That's a really strange language. It's like, you know, the words are so similar. Like you can say, like hoko is the direction, and then you've got fuku, which is cold. But when the Japanese say it sounds like huku, so you change like one bit of the word and it means something completely different. The other really weird one was that if you said kazoku, that meant family, but then if you said kaizoku, that means pirates. You're just like, what? One of the things I really like in Swedish.
Yeah, but you get this kind of stupid shit, like in all the different languages. It's not helpful. But what I.
Go on, you go.
No, translation. Is this Japanese?
Oh no, I was going to say one of my favorite ones I've ever come across when I studied language was Italian. And they have a word, you know how we would say a hit and run driver? And in Italian, they would say pirata della strada, which literally means pirate of the street.
For a hit and run?
For someone, for a hit and run driver, they say pirata della strada, pirate of the street.
Pirate of the street.
Pirate. I like that.
Pirate stop for no one.
Yeah, too right. I would just wind my mother up and say, oh, if I would give up all my degrees and PhDs and all this thing just to become a pirate, not the kind that actually used swords and drank mead and stuff, not this Somali AK-47 shit.
The ones who just illegally dispense copyrighted material. Is that the part you'd want to be, James?
No, that's the boring one. I just want like swords, wenches, and meat, you know.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, you could wave swords on your like pirate DVD stand.
That could be fun.
That'd be an interesting thing to see. Bootleg beer.
Yeah, bootleg beer.
Well, I think it's probably got to that time of the evening.
What do you mean? Time of the morning, then? Time in the morning, Rob.
I kind of fallen off of see, this is early for you. But shall we draw a line on this?
1 in the morning, Rob. Already drunk. Can I just say, this beer?
Oh,
not something I'm going to put in my mouth again.
Okay,
I don't want it in or on or around my mouth.
But isn't that essentially a rule of thumb?
In and around the mouth.
Probably
Pass.
not something I want to repeat.
Pass. Beer review on this one? No, thank you.
Don't put it anywhere near or around my mouth.
In and around my mouth.
Not in any orifices.
You know
That's
what?
horrendous.
Maybe in the orifices. Maybe that's what it's good for. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, you can choose if you want to put this beer in your orifice. Go for it. If you're just going to put the liquid in your body, if you're passing it through your mouth, it's average desirable. It's not bad.
It's okay. Nothing special.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like something you want to write home about.
Beer-wise, anyway.
Definitely not going to go to a party with like a 6-pack of these going, hey guys, taste this, and have to deal with that fucking liquid all night.
Yes.
Anyway.
You'd be so provocative. You'd be the most
Oh my.
exciting person at the party with your provocative beer about.
Hashtag edgy.
I'm not going to say what's about.
Provocative beer choice.
Hashtag provocative beer choice. And on that bombshell, I don't think we can go any further than
No, we
hashtag provocative beer choice. Okay, well, I was putting the proverbial cherry on the cake on that one. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Rob, for hosting this. I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been good. Thanks for everyone for bearing with us, all you beautiful people. We've still got 6 people and it's nearly midnight, you bunch of,
Wow.
bunch of lunatics.
Reprobates.
You've clearly got no...
Go
Well,
to bed. Don't you have a
I'd say
job?
probably the best thing for you lot is Jeremy Kyle is going to be on in about 4 hours, so you're all right. But yes, but no, I really do appreciate it. Everybody kind of like tuned in tonight. Everybody who's been on the chat tonight. Peter, the Master of Hoppets, who's clearly a lot more sensible than us people, or he's actually got better things to do than us, which is probably true. But yeah, it's been fun. Until next time. Someone very wise once said, "Life's too short. Drink amazing beer."
Oh.
See you later.